Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Where am I? Where have I gone? Oh no, I am here. I am here. I need to get rid of this. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Alien Addict on this fine and luxurious, and it is a luxurious evening because I'm supposed to have 7 guests on tonight. At the start of the show, I have 2. Well, 3 if you include me. Include me? Include me. But I'm not going to be a guest on my own show. Maybe I might do that one day, though, because I could stream it off this computer and get 2 of me. But that'd be very complicated. I would enjoy speaking to myself, though. So that's what my wife says. She says I love myself. But without further ado, let's get on with the show. And, you know, I'm very warm. We've got some hot guests tonight. Speaking of hot guests, I cannot. Artemis. It's a beautiful name.
Oh, God. That's good. Yeah. Artemis.
And
you just call me Artie. Artie.
I like that. Artie.
There you go.
There you go. And I've seen you on a few shows on Alien Girl, and I thought,
yeah,
this young lady has been on my show in the chat for years, and you've got a lot to say about UFOs. But before I can't be rude to Mr. Dean. Mr. Dean is in the house tonight.
Mr. Dean, hi. How are you doing?
Hello.
And me and Dean have actually touched in the flesh. So you know, well, no, in like
nice.
like a healthy friendship way. Not saying it's not healthy. Not saying it's not healthy for men to talk.
No, it's good. We've been through a lot together through the years.
With this, we have.
This is a great beginning. I love this.
I believe in great beginnings. But you should know by now the start of my show and the end of my show. I never know what to do.
Very quirky.
Just cut shit.
Yeah. It's nice. I like it. It's very real.
Do you know something? You messaged me. I think it was the beginning of this week. Artemis, and you said to me, "What's the show about?" And I think I said, "I have no idea. I'll think of something." We'll wing it. I'm still thinking. I just felt inspired by. I watched X-Files of years ago, but I watched an episode of it the other day. It's a little bit shit now, but there are some good episodes still to the show.
You mean the old one's shit, or is there a new one?
No, well, there are new ones that are newish.
Right. I thought I missed something.
And that they try to make it a little bit modern, you know, but X-Files kind of started it all off, you know, where they kept the story running in programs. And I want more stuff like that, but with more alien stuff. But so I always tend to go back to X-Files. And there's a few things in there. There's those words that Mulder has on the back of his wall as pencils in the ceiling. I want to believe. Yes. I want to believe, and they say the truth is out there, but I just thought, there's my show.
Yeah,
there is my show, just there, and I've forgotten the name of my show. What's it called? Is the truth out there? Is the truth out there, guys?
But it did inspire so many different things, the X-Files. Because I remember being even in Blackpool. You might not know what Blackpool is, Artemis. Blackpool's like I suppose it would be the equivalent of Jersey Shore. It's like an area, you know, of like drinking and fun and arcades and things. But there was a setup. I remember going as a kid, and that they had do you remember the time when the first alien autopsy video came out?
You mean the
1996 or something, when it came out? When the internet first came out, there was an alien autopsy video that was done. I'm sure it's been debugged millions. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Well, there was one of the whole buildings on the whole strip in Blackpool was taken over for a UFO and alien autopsy conference, and I stumbled upon it, and I went in, and I thought it was going to be like a child's trip around what an alien autopsy is and stuff. But it was actually quite genuinely people who genuinely believed about it and shared as much knowledge as they could. And it must have cost them. Yeah, it was exactly all. They had like a dummy version of that, and they had it's 1995. I wasn't far off, so it probably was 1996. This, and I was quite impressed. But it didn't last. It obviously cost a lot of money to have a building and doing it. But that, I think, the X-Files and that all kind of created a chance for people in media to talk about something that they couldn't really talk about before.
So do you guys kind of, are you on the same, I mean, you're probably a little bit, quite a lot younger than me and Dean. Me and Dean are about the same age. I'm 40. Dean, have you just turned 40?
I'm 30.
Just turned 40, yeah.
Oh yeah, came to your birthday party. I totally forgot. It was a good birthday
you were
party,
there.
by the way. It was very good. That's why I forgot.
You didn't turn up. You didn't turn up on time. You weren't there for the surprise.
No, I'm not even on time for my own shows, mate. So.
But this is
That's true. People called you out on it too.
If you can understand now, Artemis, Alien Addict, he almost ruined my surprise party because he didn't know it was a surprise and he was late and he was going to text me and say, "I'm running a bit late, mate. I'll be there when I can." But you didn't, and until you arrived and realized I didn't know, you went, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't text you now. I would have ruined the whole thing."
Well, I think you'd probably just been like, "What? What's he talking about?"
You're like, wait, what? Nothing.
I had an idea. Of course, I had an idea because I didn't organize anything for my own do, so I knew something was going to happen.
You hoped anyway.
Yeah.
It's interesting what you're saying there, Dean. Because I mean, are you in your 20s, Artemis?
I just turned 30.
Did you? Okay,
yeah.
you'd never guess. You never guessed. Great skin.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
like
you.
You can't
Of course. Yeah, I'm freshly shaved too.
Tell your boyfriend I'm not flirting. I am a married man. Man. I am a married man, not flirting. I am a flirtatious guy though. Apparently, my wife's just chucked a sock at me.
She watches the show.
I'd never say these things. I never say these things. Have you not seen the way I speak about my wife?
She's lovely. I mean, I don't know her, but I just know she's lovely.
She's from Ecuador.
She's lovely.
She's from Ecuador.
Ooh, exotic. Nice.
Yeah, I get that. So you're in your 30s, so you'll kind of remember when this internet thing with UFOs started. And
but I was pretty young. Like when you said 96, like I would have been only 5. But I've seen the autopsy just at an older age for sure. And like when I was a teen, I mean, not a lot of people talked about it, or not at least like people that I went around with. Like I was into it, but I guess more behind the scenes. Like even my sister, I have an older sister and she's very girly. So, if I was to bring up UFOs to her, she'd be like, "Artemis, that's so weird. Like, you just like, why are you even thinking of that? Or why are you talking about that?" So I definitely think my influence was more like if I was like alone and actually able to look into this stuff, or maybe even sometimes with my dad, because he was more nerdy. So a bit more into, like, he liked Star Trek and all that. So like I've seen all of that as a young girl because of him, which is cool. But yeah.
I don't think I've ever asked you this question. You've probably explained it on Alien Girl, but that's usually a bit late for me. I'm usually in bed.
Yeah.
But what got you into ufology? Have you had like sightings or an experience?
It was never like one specific experience. I don't think I've had like, a genuine experience, but I've seen like some interesting things that I can't explain, whether it's like a UFO or not. I did post one thing to Twitter, which did get some controversy. Like I got the people saying that it was like a balloon, but I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes, so I knew it wasn't a balloon. Like I could tell the difference. It was something very interesting that I couldn't identify. It had like weird lights. I tried to Google like this kind of drone because it was very silent, all this stuff. I couldn't find anything on it, and I see drones around here like all the time because it's residential. So there's just a lot of people, I guess, who have drones. And it's nothing like that. Like you can hear a drone. You can, I don't know, the way they fly, it's kind of, I don't know. You could just it's very clear to me.
What do you mean by you don't know? So when you see something flying and it's not like anything you've known, can you explain as best as you can what it sounded or felt like? Or?
So there was no sound.
Correct,
It was silent. It had red lights that it was kind of in the shape of an S, but almost like a hoverboard, if you like kind of can picture that. And it sort of wobbled as well as spun at the same time. And then it was just gone. Like I started filming it. I did get like a bit of film / like I took some screenshots from the film, and it was solid in color and everything. So it wasn't reflective. Like it wasn't one of like a number 2 balloon. People kept saying it's a number 2 balloon. It's not. I'm like, it wasn't, I swear. Like I saw it with my eyes as well. But yeah, I mean, it could have been a drone. Like but every other drone that I've seen in our, like my neighborhood, they're very noisy and like almost not rickety, but kind of like very easily identifiable as a drone. So this was different, and then it just like disappeared. Like I don't know what direction, where it went or anything. As I was like filming / taking a picture, it just kind of went away. So I don't know what it was, but I mean that was since like already believing in or not believing, but like getting really like into the topic. I think I've always been into like space, UFOs, like I said, I've watched Star Trek from like a really young age. Star Wars, all that. Yeah.
Who's your favorite captain?
Oh, well, that's a good one. I don't know. I mean,
chat for this.
I know. You know what? I'm not going to answer.
No, can't answer.
This is only like my 2nd or 3rd interview, so I should be careful. I don't want to get hate. How about all of them in their own ways? You know, everybody portrays the characters different anyway, so it is kind of. Yeah, but I mean, some are better than others. Anyway, I'm not gonna say. But
so I've not been on these chats either. It's my first kind of chat, and I was nervous because I don't have the technical knowledge to discuss what I'm thinking, right? So I can't put my thoughts into words that might help people understand what I'm saying because I don't take part in these kind of things. But I do have beliefs. So you might know, Ollie. Can you tell me about what different types of propulsion you've talked about in the past?
Dean, I'm not a ufologist.
I know, but you must have had a conversation about propulsion. So if people are seeing things that don't have a sound.
So everybody, I'll tell you who will tell you about propulsion.
Perfect.
Osvaldo Franco in the house.
Nice.
Perfect.
Hey, Osvaldo.
And this man is a ufologist.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Franco, Artemis and Dean Delonix.
Hey, you said it. Good job, Ollie. You're learning.
I think I prefer that to Artie because I feel like I'm just cheating there. I'm not pronouncing your name properly.
It's okay.
But Dean, you can call me Ollie. It's fine.
Sorry. Okay.
She went because when you go,
it just sounds like it's Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, they know me as Ollie.
Okay, Osvaldo, hello. How are you doing?
All right. How you doing? I'm sorry, I'm a bit late. What is the?
I have no idea. We have no idea what it's just a stream, mate. It's just a little bit of fun times. But Dean just asked a very good question. What are the different types of propulsions when it comes to ufology? Is that what you meant, Dean?
I'll explain what my question was because I'm not really I've not been in the world of the UFOs at all, but I do have strong beliefs about things, and I might help out later in the conversation. But we were just Artemis was just explaining about seeing something in the sky that didn't have a sound, that should have had a sound. And I remember it was the old Musky guy, Elon Musk, was talking about why flying cars will never be a success. is because they're so noisy. You can't take off. Your neighbours will go like, oh, fucking hell, it's 7 o'clock in the morning and my mate has gone off to work, next door neighbour. Thank you. So then we talk about propulsion. And do you know, Osvaldo, do you know much about the different types of propulsions that are in the pipeline?
Yes,
Or
a huge amount. I'm kind of an expert in that. That's I studied physics in college because I was like obsessed with propulsion methods.
So what different ways can you do it without sound?
Oh my goodness. Oh, it depends. Well, you can use certain like ion propulsion. Could probably do it, depending on how far away you are from these things. If you're very, very close to a UFO, sometimes if they're revving up to go someplace, you hear them. So, and when you are up close to them, they tend to sound like electrical transformers.
Ah.
Yeah, and that's because they are electrical transformers.
So the way that there's an electrical pylon near us where we used to play as children, and in the fields, and you can hear the hum.
Yeah, no, it's kind of
really
like
deep.
an amp.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like an amp, like a guitar amp.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's because they run on electromagnetic energy. You know, same as the amp, same as the transformer.
That's what you heard when you were a kid.
Yes,
Oz.
I speak from experience. This is exactly what happens.
We have the original video on Alien Addict, where you're up on the rooftops when you was a part of the Hudson Valley Science.
Yes.
And that thing was right above you, humming.
Yeah, and just before it was revving up and it was departing. You know, we saw it for like the last couple minutes just before it left.
And that thing had was right by saying blue lights.
Yeah, well, white.
White, sorry.
Yes, yeah. like liquid light, really odd color. Like it was just like really, really unusual. And there's when you're dealing with these things, there's an odd quality of the light in some cases. You know, like there's a lot of weird optical anomalies that happen with UFO encounters, especially up close ones. In fact, you can tell what's going on, if you know the details of those of the physics behind that.
Yeah, thank you, Bricktop, for the kind donation there, the $2. Oz, do you know the answer to this? Because I certainly don't. Thoughts on McCandlish propulsion?
The flux liner.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, McCavendish was an illustrator for was it Popular Science? Well, he did a lot of the tech magazines back in the 90s. He was one of the graphic artists. You, as a kid, saw his work. You just don't recall, didn't know who was drawing that stuff. If you ever looked at a technical magazine, especially when it dealt with aviation. And basically, he was told a story that the United States had 3 alien reproduction vehicles at a air show in the 1980s. And there's reasons to believe that he was telling the truth, really good reasons. My thoughts on the propulsion system. I think that it's probably real, and I think that it's probably a lot more advanced now than it was back then. They've definitely poured a lot more energy, money, and time into those things since then. So, who really knows what capabilities they have?
Okay.
Yes, he was a conceptual aircraft artist. Yes, he was.
Do you think? Because I mean, the title of tonight's show, Oz, is I'm just reading it now to make sure I know what it is. Is the truth out there? Do you actually think that somebody has the hard truth that maybe one country or one group of people actually know everything there is to know about this, or as much as
no, they don't know everything there is to know about this. That's impossible. There's the whole universe. This is the beginning of us going out into the greater universe. We'll not ever know what's completely going on over there. However, I think we know very well what's going on down here in regards to that, and who from there is coming down here, at least for the most part. I like, dude, I'm gonna say I think, but I know, like they know a lot more about this than what they're talking about, and the things that they do know, like will shock us. It's just a matter of time, um, and that's inevitable. In fact, the countdown has already started to that. That's going to happen sooner than I think most people think. But
we had an interview after the report, Oz, and I was saying to you that a few people are quite disappointed about the report that
those
came.
people don't know what they're talking about. In fact, there has been so much that I've been hesitant to talk about this because, as you know, I'm working on a show myself, and I'm going to be the first episode is going to handle exactly this, what has been going on behind the scenes in the greater world in regards to this. And the thing is, I think a lot of people in ufology spend too much time in ufology. You don't see other stuff, and you're about to, and in meaningful ways. This report was enormous. This report got so much done, and in fact, it is. I mean, what it has caused, like the cascade of events, especially in the scientific community, in particular, are astounding. As somebody who has spent his life in the scientific community and in ufology, this is, like it is a dream come true, and it's getting more and more exciting daily. We're winning. This is what winning looks like. This is what winning feels like. I mean, is it full?
Yeah.
Is it grand disclosure? No, but we got breaks in the dam, huge ones. Like I said before, we didn't blow up the Death Star, but it's burning in space and they're evacuating.
Please don't blow up the Death Star. Not again. Not again. Dean, I think this one's for you. Are you?
No.
Did you go platinum?
Just gold.
But Dean, you are a member of a few bands, but you've gone solo now, which is Dean Delonix. But the YouTube channel I have linked, guys, and there is a few songs. I actually designed the artwork for one of the and the logo. But the artwork for one of the songs, which is about Mr. Epstein. That bastard.
Is it though? I don't know if it is. It's about trafficking. It's called it's about trafficking in general.
Great song, mate. So a great song. So guys,
from Britain and
it's probably the beginning. But now you're doing the whole health stuff, which I will get on to, Dean. Definitely. Okay. At the beginning of the show, that I want to keep it on the on the UFOs and what is actually going on from an outsider. So, Artemis, you've been looking into this for quite some time. Oz, you've been looking at it since you came out of the womb,
basically,
practically. And
7 years of being a regular kid, and then that was it.
Dean, from speaking to me Dean was my boss.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, and I was a really terrible employee that used to chuck things when I didn't get my own way.
He was great.
And turning up to work half cut half the time. But
yeah,
we always spoke about, there was always an interest. So me and you, we would always speak about this subject before I even had Alien Addict.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a curiosity.
Have you still got your curiosity with this? Because I asked you on tonight because at your party we were speaking and we spoke a little bit about the UFOs. We spoke about the paranormal and what have you. You've had a UFO sightings yourself. I mean, if you wouldn't mind quickly telling the story. I mean, Oz is always interested in a good UFO story because he likes it.
Yeah, well, mine was the usual one that it was me and my son. So it was my elder son, who is now 21, going to be 22. So we saw quite simple lights in the sky, and it was in a triangle that moved and then flipped to a 3 in a line and then flipped again to a triangle and going across. It was only very simple. It was no big wow. It was just me and him going, that's so weird. We tried to take a video but couldn't take it. But it wasn't as shocking as a lot of other people's stories of, oh, we saw this and that. We just saw something in the sky that was really strange. It could have been anything, really. I don't know. Maybe it was the Starlink But I don't think that was going then. It was a few years
you
before
told
that.
me, you go say you told me that quite a long time ago. It were.
Yeah, I think it was before that. I think after I thought maybe it was that. But I always look for rational.
Lines. It doesn't like turn into like pyramid. I mean,
right? No, it did that one. Yeah, it did muck around like that. And first of all, I thought it was like lanterns. people write lanterns in a row and let them fly off. But no, it was definitely something in the sky that I'd never seen and I couldn't understand. But I've not. It didn't affect my life. I still don't think about it much now. It's like,
where did this happen?
It happened in England, and it was very close. I remember it being very close to what we call bonfire night, where a lot of fireworks are going off. So I thought, it could be something to do with that. But it was quite.
Any RAF for U.S. military?
No bases near us. No, a good 40 miles away is the other sort of base. They played whatever was in the sky. It kind of played around a little bit. So it was going from right to left. But as it did, it stopped and mucked around and moved around in different shapes and then went off. And it was just fascinating to watch, really. But it was nothing major. Didn't abduct me or anything like that, But it did make me think about things in the sky and how we don't really look to the skies anymore. And we find it hard to look to the sky because I think there's a level of consciousness of people who don't want to see things, so we don't want to look and see things. It's a bit weird to see things, but I do see a lot of shooting stars where I live for some reason. But
or satellites.
Things they're quite interesting to see. But a lot of people don't look to the skies. But it was interesting. It sparked my interest a little bit. But where I am now, so I've come away from. And as you were talking about Artemis, about the S-shaped and the lights, it's weird because technology was always something really interesting to me, and I loved the moon landings, and I loved seeing the rockets and Apollo into space and seeing how we do those things, and that's great. But over the last year, and I think due to lockdown, because I'm a musician, so I've not been able to really work. I've had more time with my brain than anything. And I've been sitting and thinking and reading a lot more about spirituality and about how we use vibrations in the world. And I've been thinking,
connecting to yourself, really.
Yeah, but thinking
more about... Stop judging, Oz.
No.
Hey, it's never a bad thing to connect better to yourself, no matter what you believe in. Honestly, I don't think
don't get lost into that, because that's usually what happens. People just one stop and that's it. They just remain there.
But at the same time, I don't think we actually want. I think people avoid connecting with themselves because they don't want to feel what they're really feeling. And so that's probably also why they don't look to the skies, because people are so anxious. There's light pollution as well, so you don't really see much. Even where I live, and it's residential, I still don't see very much either. But also, people don't think about it. I bring up the topic a lot more to my friends lately as well, and I don't know. I have this sense of not caring anymore what people think if I'm asking them. I don't know why. It's like a light, just like a switch. All of a sudden, I'm just asking anybody. I don't know, but it's sparking these conversations, and every time that I'm asking somebody, no one's getting offended. If anything, people are actually sitting there thinking, saying, that's probably true. There's probably more out there. There's, when I ask, do you really think we're alone? People tend to say, actually, no, that's not likely. That's kind of silly to think that we're really the only people or anything alive, really, out there, that there's really nothing else in this entire universe. People are already open-minded to that, but no one's sparking that curiosity with them, and everybody's so busy on their day-to-day that they don't even think about it. So I don't know. I don't know how we really get that out there better, but
I've got something to say there, and I can't hear my earphones now. Is anyone talking? Yeah. So one thing that really when I went more to about spirituality and about being, trying to be one with the universe as much as I can. I'm not like that weirdo, but I'm getting like that. But what really hit me was the words a lot of people use about lights in the sky. And I thought about that a bit. I thought lights. I thought why would they use lights? Like, you know, so, and I see spaceships being more, and I think I've talked about this with you, Ollie, about multi-dimensional sort of ideas or
Yes.
things like that. Like, why would they use lights? Like, so lights to me is a very human way of thinking things, very sci-fi way of thinking
I
things.
agree.
And people have talked about, you know,
Why they use lights
what was
in
the
this.
what was the name of the propulsion guy who just paid £2? What was the name of that propulsion?
McCavendish?
My
Yeah.
microphone, my
the-
headphones have
that's the one?
gone. McCarthyism or something.
McCavendish.
Yeah.
Cavendish.
So McCavendish. So I'm assuming this is you said it was a sci-fi drawer who drew.
Oh no, he's
ideas.
he's a technical artist. He used to
Artist.
draw diagrams of planes and
Okay.
like for aerospace industry and stuff like that. If you read
So-
like Popular Science or Popular Mechanics and stuff like
Yeah.
that, you saw his work. Like,
Okay, it's not sci-fi, so it's reality. So, but
yes,
it's a very human way of thinking. So I'm a human and I'm made of meat, right? So I'm made of meat, and we are humans. We think with meat, so our head's made of meat, and we think, how can a person made of floppy meat get ourselves out into space? You know, well, we're gonna need a big tin can around us, and we're gonna need some lights because we've got eyes, right? We need to see where we're going, so we need some lights to see where we're going. And that's a very insular way of thinking about space travel when you're not a human. So that's what got me thinking about lights in the sky, and it got me about thinking of what people want to see, what they want to see a lot of the time. People want to believe things, and science fiction helps us think about, what can we think about, what we believe? Which is why we find people who see sights and lights in the sky often are very similar because they've read something about it. And so because I was becoming more spiritual, I started moving away from this science fiction way of thinking about UFOs. I started moving away about mechanical and metals and lights and things that help floppy meat humans get into space, and started thinking about evolution. I started thinking about organic compounds and organic life. And then I saw about this thing, and you guys know what I'm going to say, called a tic tac. What the hell's a tic tac, right? So a tic tac, when I've watched these videos about tic tacs, it's just like a big white tic tac shaped thing, right? That goes, it's got no lights on it, it's got no sound, it just goes in and out of the water, flies around. The the Marines and the Navy and the American Army get all freaked out about this big white block. Can you hear me okay? Yeah?
Yes, mate.
You're very polite. Yeah, I thought you'd be putting it. So I'm going to talk for a bit. So, and I thought about it, and I thought it reminded me of Stanley Kubrick's 2021 Odyssey film with the monolith. You know, monolith's a big black structure. There's no wires. There's no metal. It's all organic. There's no flashing lights on it. Any other director who wanted to put something in what was actually a tribal early Earth, and they put it in, and they put a metal structure with lights flashing and big arms and metal and wires waving. But Stanley Kubrick didn't. He put one black, very soft, almost jet-like material. And I suppose his idea was, if we're being futurist and we think about the future and about if evolution takes its course massively, then things are more organic than man-made. And that's what I think a tic tac potentially is.
What, an evolution?
Listen, there's some problems with that theory.
Okay.
This is why we do this, Oswald. This is why we do this.
The reason why UFOs glow is because, remember how I told you they sound like electrical transformers? Because they are.
Some of them are.
Because they are. Now, this is the thing. When you said moving away from metal, these things are made of something called these things are made of something called metamaterials. This is like super advanced metals of very, very interesting isotopic ratios.
Made by somebody.
Made by somebody. Somebody advanced, and we have a chain of custody of samples that are decades old, even older.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you on that. I think that's.
So this is the thing. The reason why they glow is because they're, like I said, they are charged. The surface area of the craft is charged. They're made out of metamaterials to make. They're made out of metamaterials to make sure that charge is basically carried across the surface of the entire craft. Now, the thing is with the metamaterial, this is the thing. That's also why they're also shaped the way they are, like tic tacs or spheres or discs. Is because those are also the best shapes if you want to make something that has, a uniform charge. Now, this is the thing. When you charge something, it gives off light. The reason why UFOs glow at night, it's because they're functioning kind of like a neon sign. The same principle is there. When they charge the gas around them, and that causes these color effects. That's why that happens. It's a byproduct of the drive system.
I think that's just right. I'm going to go a bit out there again. And we've had someone join, haven't we? We had Rich join. Hi, Rich.
So,
Hey, Rich.
Rich, Rich, I have missed you. I got a little bit worried. That's why I've spammed you on
Right.
Skype. I was thinking, where's Rich gone? Have you been all right, my friend?
Yeah, I'm fine. I've just had every time you've been on, I've had stuff going
That's
on.
fine, mate. That's fine.
Unfortunately,
No,
so
I
sorry about
I generally got a little bit worried. That's all. Because I had a subscriber that was a good friend of mine die a few years ago, and he went quiet for for a month, and it actually did freak me out. I actually tried to, Rich. I was Paddy. I was at the hotel. I was at the caravan with my wife, and I was telling my wife, because you sent my wife the sleep video. Well, you sent me it, but my wife loved. I still haven't listened to it. Sorry, but my wife loved it, and she's into all that stuff. And I'm a little bit worried, and I was trying to stalk you. I even looked on your Facebook to see to find out if you'd snuffed it. See, but you're still here, so I'm happy.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Rich, this is Artemis, Osvaldo Franco,
Hi.
and Dean Delonix. This is Rich, guys.
And he's not dead.
Nice to meet you.
Nice one, Rich.
I'm alive.
You're still alive.
Good job.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dean, were you about to say something?
I
Sorry,
was.
mate.
So, as Valdo was just saying about how the way that a UFO would light up because of the propulsion system,
No,
and it's like a neon.
We know this because we have extensive samples. There's been a lot of study that's been going on. There's attempts at back engineering that are bearing fruit. This is already done. There's a lot of, listen, when I say that we don't know most of everything, it's true, but most of the stuff that the fanciful ufology of the past is done.
Oh,
Most
great.
of that stuff is going away. It's going
And
away
you know what?
in the next few months and the next 2 or 3 years. Like I say this a lot. Ufology is going through a lot of changes. In fact, there's one going on right now while we're speaking. That's happening immediately, as currently, that a lot of things are going to change, and most people involved in this field will probably not make the change. They will probably be left behind. We are entering a new era. Like, I'm not even kidding. This is not my opinion. We're already in it, and we're accelerating towards amazing, huge things. Most of the basic questions will be definitively answered. Definitively. This will no longer be this up in the air thing, or maybe this, or maybe that, or wouldn't it be nice if, or fun if. No. We're moving past that. We're going to move into much more interesting, far more complex discussions about everything. But most of this, the ufology that we've had for the last 80 years is going away. It's already done. And there's a lot of major new players coming in. There's a lot of big things are happening. Not just in terms of the scientific community, but also the corporate community. There's a lot of things that most people don't know about this that people are going to find out soon. This is not somewhere down the line. This is in the immediate future.
Oz, do you mind? I get where you're going with this, and this is I always like to hear your side of this, because you come from a very scientific background with this. You studied the science behind it, and you That is what you worship the science behind it. Okay.
If you're not doing science, you shouldn't be doing ufology.
However,
I disagree.
Good, and this is why we do this channel, Dean, because we have disagreements.
Because I'm not a scientist,
and it's an open platform for anybody who wants to speak their mind. Whether I don't give a shit if you believe in flat Earth, I really don't. I'm an entertainer, and I interview people because I like to talk to crazy fuckers. But Rich,
I'm not a crazy fucker.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
Rich, because you've just joined the show, I want to give you a bit of a platform here, because I don't know if you spoke to Osvaldo before, but you've seen him a lot on the channel before.
We've had a chat. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
briefly.
I think what Osvaldo talks about here is really key. Osvaldo is. I understand Tom DeLong's about to go
Yes.
on the air
Yeah,
at the moment. I think he's with Jim Semivan. I think
yes,
he's
exactly.
doing some of that. Is there going to be an announcement of that kind then?
Listen, they're gearing up. There's stuff going on. Not only that, Jim Semivan is, like you said, is going to be is coming out from behind for the first time today, and he's going to be, other than like he did a brief thing with TTSA maybe 2 years ago for a little interview, but like now this guy is really stepping up to the foreground. Again, like I said, there's major stuff happening. This whole subject is going to transform. It is transforming now. People that disagree with me, you're just going to be wrong. I am not making this up, and I'm not offering suggestions. This is not what I want or don't want. This is what we are getting, and we're all getting it.
So if he's
be ready. I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah.
I will continue to say this because it's true, and it's becoming more and more true. And the people that don't agree, I'm sorry, you don't have enough data yet. You're gonna get more.
That's my beautiful man. Yes, I let just Rich ask that question that he's going to follow it up with, because I understand. Also, we understand your passion behind it. This is why we love you. I'll lick your face. Love it, Rich.
So the interesting one is, I think you're right. So we've had the time where TTSA have had Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo at the forefront. The Adam Project doesn't seem to have come up with anything. So I'm guessing that's been parked. So what do you think Jim's going to bring to it? Jim Semivan?
Well,
is this going to be CIA now?
Well, in terms of Adam Project, we're about to get the Craddock report soon. Like, things were slowed down a bit, like quite a bit, in fact, because of COVID. Everything. Recently, it's interesting. In the last week, there was another interview with a member of TTSA, and he was talking about how COVID had screwed everything up and slowed things down, but that things were beginning to pick up again. This is not unusual. This happened with everybody. There's a Craddock report, which is basically the joint effort between the U.S. Army and TTSA to study the metamaterials. We're getting that. In addition to that, we will soon be getting the paper that Jacques Vallée has been working on for quite some time. There's going to be peer-reviewed. It's going to be published. This is going to be an official scientific paper about recovered extraterrestrial or recovered non-human technologies and what the analysis says about these things. And basically, it's going to be a bunch of the things that I've been saying and a lot of stuff that I haven't. So this is basically done.
It's
this
human.
Is not like
it's not non-human. I don't think it's non-human. It's human.
It's
I disagree.
Yeah, who had metamaterial? Some of these samples are very old. Who had nanotech back then? Nanotech made out of samples from metals that don't occur in the solar system.
I want to come over to Artemis on this.
60 years ago. I'm sorry, but this is the only explanation that makes sense. They're talking about the Tic Tac. They're coming in ICBM trajectories.
It makes sense in your mind, okay?
No, this is science. This is the data that.
Listen, I'm not disputing that at all. I'm not. I ain't got a scientific. I ain't even got a scientific particle of skin on my body, right?
Yeah.
So I that's why I appreciate you. So for guys, what to answer UAP UK, Josh?
Oh, the Department of Energy.
Wait, what do you?
Department of Energy is basically,
according to thoughts on it. What the thoughts on it, guys?
On the
yeah.
What it is.
It's from the UK.
Like
Is it the UK Department of Energy or the American Department? What is the Department of Energy?
Well, he's UK.
American.
Well,
It's the American.
the Department of Energy. Real quick, Department of Energy seems to be where the Men in Black actually operate out of. But in addition to that, recently in the last few years, the Department of Energy, they have a museum in Las Vegas, and they did this series of lectures, and they had an exhibit in the museum where they actually recently they had people that used to work at Area 51 discuss things. But not only that, they had displayed pieces of recovered extraterrestrial vehicles, ones that they got from George Knapp, but they were there, and these were from some of the samples he got back in the 90s after the Soviet Union had collapsed. And this was in the years just before TTSA, and this is in and around the times when there were rumors that something was going on and that Tom DeLonge was involved in something big and that this was going to happen, and sure enough, it did. Department of Energy plays a huge role in this. Department of Energy, I'd love to see them get subpoenaed, especially with the congressional hearings we're going to be getting.
Artemis, I want to come to you with this one. So, I don't know if you're like me with this, because I'm kind of I look into this stuff, but I like more the glamorous stuff when it comes to ufology. I like the exciting stuff. I want to see little green men's hands and feet, So when it comes to this subject, and yourself, Dean, as well, but you probably know more than I do. Does it excite you? Do you see that these type of subjects, when we talk about the Department of Energy, when we talk about the fact that what's his name? I said Boris Johnson. Then Barack Obama has just gone on a show and talked about the UAPs. Do you think that the truth is actually out there, and some of these people are hinting at what they know from people, especially? I mean, you two guys that are side of me here, because we like the exciting stuff, but do you actually think we're gonna the truth? They have it. Do you think somebody has?
I'd like to hear what you think, Artemis. You go. You tell us what you think.
Okay, so as far as the truth being out there, I think it's always been out there. I think it's out everywhere around us. Obviously, I like the glamorous stuff. When Barack Obama, he was pretty cheeky, and like his interview, he was making a bit of jokes, but then he kept bringing it back to serious, like a serious tone. He would make a little bit of a play as if to kind of warm people up to the idea, I think. But you can tell that he's seen some interesting stuff, at least that's my take. And I don't doubt that. I think that he has, but do I think that he's really seen everything? Probably not. Like, I don't think they would show him, or any president, as far as that matters. I don't think they would show everything that they really have. But as far as the truth being out there, I definitely think that it's been on our planet all along. There's signs everywhere. There's evidence everywhere. There's ancient, like the pyramids. Like I could go on with what I think is already in evidence, as well as what we have to discover here, as well as in our oceans. Like, we've seen so much activity over the water, but yet we're not even going deep enough in the surface to really see what's going on, you know, or we are, but we're not saying anything, in which case that technology exists and we don't know. Because as far as I know, the technology that exists, we wouldn't survive under those conditions in the water. Like the pressure would just be too much. But is that really the truth? Do we have it behind closed doors? Perhaps we already know what's in the oceans and we're not saying. But I think what we've discovered, only like 6%. We've only looked at like 6 or 9% of what's in the ocean out of like how much water is on Earth. I think that we still have so much to discover and so much to learn on our own planet. Forget about space. And yeah, I'm fascinated by everything, and I try to stay open-minded as well, you know, because I don't know the answers, and I don't think anybody does.
Artemis, now that you're on the subject here, Uber Barbie has just asked, does Artemis Prime have a YouTube channel?
Ah, yes, I'm starting one. I haven't started yet, but subscribe. Yeah,
it is in the description. I put all the links in.
Definitely coming.
Oh, and Oz, by the way, if people want to go subscribe to Osvaldo Franco. I have added the links in the description, and for my good friend Dean Delonix, they are.
Please add me on everything, socials and everything. There's a lot coming. Yeah, I feel like I'm only just scratching the surface, but I try to stay open-minded with everything because I don't know the answers, and I don't think anybody really has 100% of what's going on. But do I think that other people know more than others? Of course. Like
this is what I love about it.
It's pretty obvious. Yeah, I think that as long as you remain curious, that's the most important thing. Is be curious, ask questions, stay open-minded. No one knows all of the answers, so why are we pretending like we do? You know?
Can I? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So I've known people in the hierarchy of the British political system. So I've been in touch with them, speaking to them, especially now with big things that are happening with COVID, right? And I won't name names or anything like that, but there's been people who have been completely out of their depth in creating policies and procedures. And when you look at what you think your government is, and you think it's they've got loads of money and they're very enriched and they're very intelligent and they've planned out the way of the world. From what I've gathered, they haven't. They're winging it. All the politicians are winging it. And we hold them to this higher echelon of understanding of that, they're the ones in get charged. But really, from what I've found, speaking with people who are involved in think tanks and things, that they really don't know what's going on, and they're just winging everything just to keep the votes. So I think when you talk about, do our leaders and people who control the governments, how they having conversations with aliens, that's a great thing to think. I think in the 1950s, there was an Austrian philosopher called Ludwig Wittgenstein, I think it is, Ludwig Wittgenstein, who said, he talked about lions, and he said, if you could speak to a lion, you still wouldn't understand what he was saying. And his point was, when another species is so far away from us, like a lion is to a human, even if we could both speak the same language, we couldn't communicate. So I don't think that someone from another, and I say dimension, not another planet, because I think it's more multidimensional than other planetarial things. I don't think
both.
Maybe so.
Really, yeah.
But that's why I don't think lights are needed. That's why I'm going to go to the light thing again in a minute. But I think that philosophers think that if we could speak to other species on the planet now, we couldn't really understand them properly.
Well, hold on. What about telepathic communications?
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about telepathic.
All right. Well, it's also interesting that you brought up.
Even if you're telepathic, you still couldn't speak. It's not about language. It's about having the same frame of reference.
Well, no, it's interesting that you brought up lions, because the children that were at the aerial school phenomena say that the extraterrestrials, at one point, their faces distorted to look like lions.
Well,
really?
It's not.
I missed that. I love that,
because
that was one of my favorites.
He could have said turtles or could have said whales. It made no difference. The point was that from someone who's far. removed as a species, give me a second, was far removed from a species, you can't have the conversation, no matter what. So when you're from a completely different dimension or different planet, the idea of discussing things is far removed and far-fetched.
Well,
The likelihood...
They're not that far removed. They've been
They are
coming here
far
for a
removed.
long
They're
time.
huge far removed. And I'll tell you why. Because I think that all of the aircraft that are seen that have lights and very metallic, very much like the Apollo craft that land on the moon, they're all very human and man-made. And I think that either they are maybe potentially futuristic people coming forward. Hey, this is the future coming in. But what really changed my idea of the UFO world was the tic-tac, the idea of and I've just said it earlier, a very white, bright, one encapsulated thing. And you say it's metal. I don't think it's metal. And when they say that, when we talk about the Space Odyssey and it was a monolith that was all black and like jet-like thing, I think that's all natural. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. So bear with me for a second. And we'll talk a little bit about vibrations. So I'm gone more spiritual now rather than man-made. I don't like technology. And you talked a little bit, Octavia, about vibrations like a guitar. I've got like a guitar amp here, and I've got a piano behind me. I'm going to talk a little bit about vibrations. So I can play a note on my piano, and you'll find not only does that note vibrate, but another note of the same octave, or at least in the same octave range, will vibrate at the same time. So vibrations communicate with each other. So I think propulsion and energies are more than just human ideas in their minds. I think it's something more spiritual, more natural. I think the tic-tac is one entity. I don't think it has anything inside it. I don't think it has consciousness as like we believe it. I think the tic-tac is just a rock that can move. I think the tic-tac is a rock because let me go back a little bit. So we all have consciousness in some level. We can hear, we can talk, we can see, we can do what we like, we can feel, and we can vibrate. And if you go down onto a cellular level in our bodies and you go down into the atoms and the electrons inside our body, they all vibrate. And a rock itself has electrons that can vibrate and move. And what's to say that if we're multidimensional and there's multiple opportunities for things to evolve in different ways from different Earths, that a rock itself, just a rock, like an amoeba before it, and a rock, didn't evolve in some way and become a flying tic-tac, just in its own way. It's just purely a solid vibrating rock that can move through time and space. I don't know, but it's as good as an idea as anything. What do you think about that?
So this rock, as you put it, came out from, like I said, ICBM trajectories.
I don't know what ICBM means.
Intercontinental ballistic missile.
No, basically, it didn't use any of those things.
No, ICBM trajectory means they came at from an angle. Basically, they came in from space.
Yeah.
Furthermore, they were also detected on satellites.
Yeah. It's a rock. Of course it is. It's just a rock.
The squadron of these rocks. Apparently, these rocks had the ability to predict where the cap was going to be. So when they were literally intercepted the planes.
Mm-hmm.
They
basically have consciousness. These rocks have consciousness.
Yes, the conscious rocks.
Well, rocks now are conscious. So rocks now are conscious. In this country now, you find a rock is conscious. It has, if you go down inside its electrons and atoms, they're vibrating.
Into the particles.
Particles are moving. So
what about the first stories of the Tic Tac, where we actually seen occupants outside of them?
Nobody who? I don't know.
Oh, yes, Lonnie Zamora. Again.
I don't know that person.
The first story of a Tic Tac.
With the egg.
Lonnie Zamora, or an egg, whatever you want to call it. We've actually done episodes about this, Ali and I. In fact, we got a scoop about that one once.
No sound, no light, no man-made metals, no big wires sticking out.
No, we got samples from the Zamora instant, and they're metal. Again, people don't have enough
the landing
data.
gear dropped off.
Yeah, exactly. It had landing gear. The rock had landing gear, by the way.
I can't imagine.
It had occupants, and it was little.
So when you say
again, people don't have enough data.
You have a landing gear of a Tic Tac, Osvaldo. Where is it?
It went missing, but it was around. We know because of basically the people that were involved in it. This was like none other than J. Allen Hynek, who is basically the first like real ufologist. A lot of the big names that were involved in physical trace evidence back in the day knew of this. The sample has since disappeared, but we have others. Lots of others. I'm sorry. A lot of these things have been answered definitively, or will soon be definitively answered. Most of the basic UFO stuff is going to be, the basic questions I believe are going to already have been answered soon. Then we're going to have a whole lot of other questions that may not be answered in our lifetimes.
Okay, I can just add something on that.
It's organic. It's more organic than you think.
I do want to add something on this.
Yeah, cyber organic. These things are woven at a molecular level. They yes. That's what metamaterials are.
That's just rocks.
I have never heard you. I've never heard you give this theory on the rocks, but it's interesting you should say that. And I know the reason, but I mean, I don't know if I believe that it is a rock that's navigating, that's picking up or whatever.
It's a conscious rock.
But
with little people,
is there not a rock? Is there not,
just a rock.
guys? Boys, is there not a rock in the desert that does? That apparently move. And I can't remember the name.
I had a book when I was a kid. It talked about all paranormal things. Yeah.
They figured
they debunk it.
Yeah, no, it's water. They put a camera out. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
See, stuff gets solved.
The problem I have with the Lonnie Zamora case, Oz, and I have looked into it since you've talked about it. When we were talking about that and the fact that a little bit of the landing gear broke off, I really can't imagine something that's coming from light years away having a little bit of a fault with its landing gear and it dropping off. Shit, guys,
UFOs leave samples.
Fucked up with left. Yeah, no, but you know what I mean.
They're constantly leaving things behind. Actually,
no. What I'm saying is
evidence. This idea that there isn't is a lie. In fact, and a lot of these things, like, they get scooped up. They get literally taken out of laboratories.
Okay, what I'm saying, Oz, is I think what Lonnie saw, and I know he saw little people get out of that craft, but I think what he did see, he saw maybe something that was yours. It was yours. It was I think that whole thing with the symbol and then covering up the symbol. I've looked into this case. You intrigued me with this case. And that whole thing with them covering up the symbol, I think that symbol had a meaning. And the reason why they are trying to scratch what that symbol was on the side of that little egg thing, and the fact that a little bit of the landing gear had broken, that's why they were there. One of them had fucked up, and whoever was driving it, whether it be intelligent chimps, whether it be
well, no, somebody fucked up, but whether it was a human fuck up or
but I think it was a human. I don't think that was an extraterrestrial craft. I do think he saw something that was technology that we probably haven't even seen to this day. I think that was a test what he saw, because if when we get the technology to go to light years, God knows what.
I think I think we're going to hit the point. What is that point called where we can't break past it?
Well, the Tic Tacs themselves also have protrusions underneath.
Yes, I know. They've got the little coat hanger things.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm wondering if those aren't maybe some type of external gravity amplifier. You know how Bob Lazar discusses those in the bottom of the sports model? But that's just a theory. But perhaps those could even be, perhaps that could even be landing gear.
Other people have supposed that what they could be doing is collecting water, and that they'd be using water as part of the fusion. Yeah, stripping the hydrogen out, fusing it.
Well, they're producing a large amount of energy, and yet they're still cold, which is again another interesting rock there. Amongst many other weird things about these objects. So I again, now in terms of landing gear, I'm not surprised if they need landing gear, especially when the technology you use requires you to make things that are rounded. I mean, if the Tic Tac landed, it'd just go rolling. Really, it would just roll on its side. The same thing if it's a sphere. You might have troubles, like like especially if the disc has a crest is rounded on the bottom, it'll just like slant to the side. So like especially like and that's the thing. Could they remain stationary? Sure, absolutely. But what if they for some reason needed to power off?
Mhm.
Maybe they need to power off for some reason. Again, those things produce a huge amount of energy. A huge amount of energy. You don't want to be around one too close. Those things are hot. Maybe they had to, maybe they have to turn them off so that they can go outside and run around safely before they jump back into their ship and go back to wherever they came from. That, to me, explains the necessity for landing gear. They still live in 4 dimensions, at least when they're here, and round things roll.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think? So when we're talking about the fact that the truth is out there, do you think, in terms of truth of what these things actually look like, it is something similar to what my logo, whoever else's logo, that's what it represents? Do you think this thing looks?
No.
Okay. Why?
No, I don't think so. So I think, right, so I'm fairly, how can I say this in an English way? I'm quite religious. I think we were made in God's image as we are now as people. And yet there was probably, if he created different worlds, different planets, we'd look completely different. I mean, we might even not be, I don't know, it could be silicon based. I don't know. I think this whole idea of a white or a grey or a whatever they call the different aliens is just people made things up, scriptures, made ideas, put them out there, people took them and ran with them, and it's all just.
What about the physical samples?
Of what physical samples? I don't have any physical samples. Do you have some?
There are people with physical samples. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of people don't have a lot of data. There's stuff out there. There's crazy stuff. In fact, there's more of it that's going to come out. Like, this is just me being hypothetical, but I think there's a reason why so many people on TTSA's board are all bioweapons people. Like, I think there's a.
Sorry, what kind of weapon?
They're all bioweapons experts. They're all involved in that.
What does that mean?
Bioweapons, like people, they basically, the U.S. military uses them to go off and determine if something is, a biological agent is dangerous or can be made dangerous or weaponized or whatever.
Okay.
The thing is that's also, according to rumor, traditionally been one of the covers that's used for recovery teams, like that and hazardous waste materials removal teams. Like, they'll tell you that there's a toxic spill somewhere, so you're not going to go anywhere near the toxic spill, even though it might have been something that crashed and they just want to keep everybody away. It's actually a great excuse, and it seems to work. This is the thing. Now, this idea that life could be like based in silicon and things, like, yeah, that is true. In fact, that's probably true. And everything is so big, you're probably going to find a lot of various types of life forms. But now, here's the thing. They are not so removed from us. Something is going on. And the fact that they do have physical parallels to us is extremely interesting. In fact, in science, we have a theory called panspermia.
Beautiful. But we've got a few other guests here, so I will have to move on from you.
Oh.
I will come back, and I want to hear from Artemis and Rich.
Artemis, she's dying to talk to you right now.
The alien grey.
15 minutes on the mic.
The alien grey.
I need to go for a break. I need a wee.
Go for a wee, Dean. Go for a wee.
I hate you.
Dean, take the camera with you.
Okay. Sorry, you want to?
You've seen. This is the kind of a lot of the logos to the channels that you go to. It is the alien grey. So, do you think that this is what they look like?
I mean, maybe, or maybe it's what our brains are already conditioned to believe that they look like. I mean, I'm pretty open to everything, but I do think that in the media and in movies and TV shows, we've already been like, it's like a practice. It's like to get our minds used to seeing unconventional creatures. I don't know. I don't think that it's a coincidence. I don't think that the popularity of this in the industry, like, I don't think it means nothing. I think that there's definitely a lot more to it. Whether that's the only thing that they look like, I mean, if you think of just Earth and all of the creatures we have on Earth, do we all look the same? No. We look quite different, don't we? So isn't that possible that, you know, if we're seeing aliens from interdimensional, different planets, you know, whatever it is, if they live on Earth and they're just in a different or in the same dimension, but just, you know, different living conditions, isn't it possible that they could look like anything that we're thinking of, or all of the above, or even more insane? I don't know, you know, even scarier or even more normal. Like maybe they look so much like us that we don't see them among us. I mean, I think that the possibilities are endless, and I don't think that there's only one answer. Just like us, we're not even just if we think as humans, we look so different, you know, culturally. You know, I'm Greek, I'm Canadian, I don't look like an African American, I don't look like an Asian, but we are all the same, you know, fundamentally, but we all look
Yep.
different. So isn't that the same potentially with aliens? We can't be naive that they're only grays, but perhaps they're also grays among like reptilians and all that like crazy stuff. Yeah.
If you went and described, because many people describe seeing different greys, they all describe them as looking the same. But
Yes,
if
that's
if
true.
if you look at a certain species of dog, or a gorilla, or a chimpanzee, or whatever, we think if you look at any of them, really we kind of think they look the same. When someone says, "Oh, I've got a Labrador, and I've got a Labrador," your dogs look the same. Your dogs look exactly the same. I love dogs, by the way, so don't unsubscribe, people. But
We
a
love
dog,
dogs.
a dog looks like
Yeah.
a dog. I've got two cats.
It's
One's really
true.
fat, one's really thin, but they both look the same. They both look like cats. We look like humans, but we can distinguish
Yeah.
the difference between what we look like, whether it's our ethnic,
Ethnicity.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
No,
whether,
I agree. I mean, I don't think
Well, we say that now, but back in the
yeah,
day, our ancestors were like freaked out when they saw somebody from Asia for the first time.
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
There was
but
there was you know, like we take that for granted. A couple of hundred years ago, a couple thousand years ago, probably not. And there's
but what I'm,
examples of that in our history. You know, we have it's like
yeah.
that. You ever see that that video of the there's a tribe, I believe they're in South America, and they
Yes.
run across a white person for the first time. That shock. That's exactly the same. That's the same thing as seeing an alien up close.
Yeah.
For the most
I
part.
mean,
Either
it
you
would
run
be, of
you
course.
run terrified, or you're just in awe, and you don't know.
What I'm
Both.
saying there is from what autism's just described.
Autism.
Sorry.
Honestly, my name has become like every other word tonight. It's cool. It's cool.
Artemis. What I'm,
It's so good. Yeah.
and what you were describing there, that just got me thinking that, you know, maybe the alien greys, you know, we describe them as, some people even say that they're just the robots, you know, that they all look the same.
Yeah.
Basically, he keeps bringing that up.
But maybe they do look different. It's only because we don't see the difference.
Yeah, I think that we have almost like a tunnel vision. I think that our brain also associates or puts pictures together that we're already familiar with as well, right? So if we are conditioned to see certain types of aliens, even in TV shows, in movies, like I've heard different stories about like the black eyes to be lenses, maybe they're not. So I think that a lot of it is also what we're perceiving as them. And everybody's different. And if they're having an experience where they're seeing these grays, um, I think part of it is what we're capturing in our mind as to what we already think of grays. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that we already have a pre image, but if that changes, of course it's possible. I just think that we definitely already have like even if I close my eyes, I can picture a gray. Is that necessarily what they actually look like? Maybe not, but it's just based on what we're already conditioned in our society. I think
it's a sketch. It's like a police sketch. It's a generalized
exactly
depiction of what the suspect looked like.
Exactly.
Based on all sorts of stuff.
And we fill in the details on our own.
And they look very human, don't they? They've got like 2 arms, 2
but
legs.
They do. They always look human. So it could be us, or it could be them telepathically telling us that they look this way because maybe it makes us feel safer. Maybe we recognize them that way, that even though they're not, like that's not really how they look. They're projecting that image onto us to ensure that we know that they're different, but at the same time that we know that we feel safe, even though they're different.
Almost looks like a children's caricature of a human.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like
and it's true. I mean, my daughter has drawn like aliens, or she tells me they're aliens, and they look like aliens. Like, I mean, it's insane. And she's 4. But it could also just be the way that she draws a human in general.
Yeah.
But
children's cartoons and
I mean, but they are pretty crazy. Like my daughter, she just like whipped one out one day. She just went and showed me this picture, and she's like, "Mommy, it's an alien. Like this is a mommy, this is a baby." And I'm thinking, where the fuck did she learn that? It's crazy, like, and she's so sure of it and like what she drew and like what she's thinking of, and it's pretty wild. And she's only 4. I mean, and I don't want that curiosity to ever go away. I think that that's so special, and we don't nourish it enough when it comes about, because some of us don't even recognize it, or some of us aren't comfortable with it, and we just kind of put it aside and pretend it doesn't exist, but it's there.
They literally physically tried to squash it, back.
Yeah, and especially back then. Yeah.
Rich.
So I suppose, like, if you look at all, I'll get to you, Rich, but if you look at all the life on planet Earth, hardly any of it looks like us, a head and 2 legs and 2 arms. Why would an alien look like that?
The reason why, and this is actually, evolutionary biology. It's easier and better for you to be a biped than it is for you to be a quadruped, or any of these other, like, or a spider or whatever. You have more physical abilities, and you can actually, you have hands, you can make tools, and
if you move on, if evolution kept going on, I mean, what would become?
Well, this is different. The thing from what the rumors are that from like autopsies, that these beings are cyber organic in nature. The implants that are being removed from people, the nanotechnology that's literally being removed from folks, would have me believe that is the case. Now, this is the thing: if they are cyber organic in the same way that we are becoming cyber organic, or we will become cyber organic. We're discussing becoming post-human. Transhumanism is a huge thing amongst the elite classes. And not only that, in science as well. And this is something that the technology is being developed. This is going to roll out, and you will have some of it in you. And even if you don't think so, wait till you get a pacemaker. Give it enough time.
In that same idea, Osvaldo. So if somebody, there is a transhuman idea, if you keep pushing that idea, it moves just to consciousness, purely consciousness, and can travel through the airwaves and can travel through. So couldn't they make contact rather than physically coming here? couldn't make
it's
contact
more like it's not just your consciousness.
through
It's
the
more
internet.
like it's kind of like they talk about trying to make beings
Oh, yeah,
in
it
physical space time, or which is theoretically
Well,
possible.
but
Maybe.
why before they would travel to our world, wouldn't they come there just metaphysically rather than physically? Wouldn't they come there through the airwaves or
No,
try and talk through?
honestly, they're coming here physically. They're coming here physically for a reason. We've got tons of evidence of this. We're getting more and more evidence of this. Like this is the thing. People try to make this subject more about spirituality and other things that it's really no. This is a nuts and bolts thing for the
Right.
most part. And even other aspects of it that are kind of like off physically are just going to be new physics that's going to be brought into the physics we have now, which works great. Remember, most of our physics works. 90% of our physics works. It's just when dealing with these odd 10% of things where things start to break down. But we're already developing the methods of understanding that. Like we're already there. And in fact, it seems more likely that they have been making physical contact with us to get us to do these things. They've been planning this. They've been setting us on a trajectory to do this. Somebody has. It seems quite obvious.
May I interject here?
Yes,
I think there's a key. Has anybody read or watched or anything to do with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah, so the movie.
Douglas Adams had a fantastic concept that he called an SEP field, if you remember. And what this SEP field was, SEP stood for somebody else's problem. And the whole idea of it was, right, that you could fly an alien spaceship and land it anywhere, and you could set up this SEP field around it, right? And people looking at it, it didn't make it invisible. All it did was convince everybody that what they saw was somebody else's problem, so they ignored it.
That's everything.
Okay.
I feel like that's the report. I don't feel like anybody's really affected by this report.
Homelessness and everything.
Yes, no, you're absolutely correct. Like, listen,
I don't know.
And our culture, the way it's set up at the moment, is a big SEP field on humanity.
No, that makes sense.
To all
Listen,
of this.
I ran across
everything.
I recently ran across this footage.
Oz, one moment while I'm talking to Rich, because I do want to get his opinion on the alien grey, because I've asked every. I want to get Rich.
Hold on, this is about the SSP field. Real quick, I found this video footage from 1979 NFL football game with 2 UFOs over it. Yeah, they actually zoom in on it. They talk about it. The reporters, they're like, "What is that?" And it's an optical illusion. Ha ha ha! Don't pay any attention to it. There's back again. Like, yeah, like, and in fact, they throw it up with the font where they show the scoreboard and everything, and everybody's reacting to it, and also trying not to. And it says such. No, I haven't sent that to you.
You said the 70s?
Yes, I'm gonna.
Yeah, honestly,
no one's really seen
all of these.
Yeah,
the older cases are so compelling to me.
It's one of these things that I've been holding on to because I'm going to be doing a show. I got a couple of surprises. I got a couple of surprises. I've been doing this a long time. Talk about a field that makes you just forget things. There's a lot of stuff in the historic record regarding UFOs that people just this memory hold. It does not fit into your reality, so it's like child abuse or something like that. You spend a lot of time trying to pretend that shit didn't happen just to get through the day. However, at some point, you're probably going to have to deal with that shit because it's going to cause trouble.
You have to, yes.
So this is the same thing, and this is the type of trauma that our society is going through. And the thing, like I said, there's a lot of data you don't have, and I don't mean that as an insult. You were lied to. You were lied to, and ufology is a mess in its own self. Good luck finding the truth. You know, in fact, one of the worst things that can happen to somebody that has had a real UFO experience is they can run into a ufologist, or at least one of these ufologists, rather. You know, these people that don't know what they're talking about, that insist that they do.
Yeah, I think that's a red flag, actually. The moment somebody says that they know exactly what's going on, or they know what's out there and they know everything, that's a red flag, because you know what? Even
Oh no,
even
but
if the
that's no,
government
but
knows, they don't know
but you
everything.
have to, you
I
have to
think
walk a
there's
fine line there, because what
yeah,
happens is some people
exactly.
are also so much so nobody knows anything, so they refuse, and everything has to be nothing. And the thing is, we're getting to a point
Yes.
where we have some answers. Odds
We have
are
some, yeah.
we have all the answers for all the pedestrian questions you have.
Right.
All the
Hold that
basic
thought.
Yeah.
Hold
But I
that
think there's a
thought.
lot we
Hold-
don't know
That's going to
still.
lead to a lot
Oz,
more
hold
that's
that
we can't
thought.
conceive of.
Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Like
Hold
you're
it tight.
you're desperate. You're desperate for a wee wee, but just hold it. Rich, the aliens, the greys.
Mhm.
You trained at the. I interviewed you first time over a year ago. I think it was now.
Yep.
Or was it about a year ago?
It was a bit more than that, I think,
Yeah,
now.
so-
But yeah.
So
About a year, maybe.
you trained at the Monroe Institute.
Yeah.
And back then, were you interested in aliens as such, as in the actual alien greys, or was it just the kind of?
It was more the concept of the fact that I was aware of the UFO as a phenomenon, and I was aware of what I would say. I had more than a passing interest in it to do with. I'd read books like Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods back in the 70s. Yes, I am this old. And
Don't look it. You look.
Yeah, no,
I love that book.
You look absolutely delicious.
Thank you.
That's coming from a straight. I can do my bromances.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Romance.
So yeah, and as I say, when I started using the consciousness tools, it was kind of like a slow realization that this was not all that it was, and I think if you take the time to work on yourself, some of these questions you don't get answers, you just get more questions, and
Just like this show.
And this is the reason why I'm here. This is the reason why I've moved into this field, so that I can talk with great people like you lot, ask questions and explore ideas. Now, about the
So
greys,
the little green men. Yeah, the little green men.
Okay, that's not what I've. Hi, Amy.
Hey guys, what's up? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yay!
Alien Girl 111 in the house. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey,
Good. How are you
girl.
guys doing? It's so good to see you guys. Hi.
Another UFO girl. What's up?
Hey, Osvaldo. Good to see you guys.
How you doing?
Good, guys.
Amy,
Good to
I will
see you.
come-
What a full
I-
house we got now. This is amazing.
I know.
Yeah. Well,
this
we
is
got
awesome.
the 6th. It was supposed to be 7, but
That's okay.
If more come in, there might be even more. Oh, God, how am I going to control that? But I'll come back. I'll come to you in a moment, Amy. So Rich, you were just about to say about the alien greys.
Yeah, I think Osvaldo hit on something. I've seen quite a few people that talk about the encounters when they actually come in contact with these creatures, that they are almost synthetic to the touch. They feel like they're touching a fabric rather than actual skin. So there are some people that posit that the greys are actually some form of synthetic life rather than something that's actually biological or meat in relation. Now, I don't know how true that is. That's something that I heard. Talking a little bit more about why objects or why bodies look human in terms of that, I think we've got to look at things like the fundamentals in life. One of the fundamentals of life is eating, and what we are basically is a long tube. we ingest food at one end and it comes out of the other, and there's a tube, and it absorbs nutrients like that. So life, if it ingests food, it will have to have a body, and then Osvaldo quite rightly talks about the most practical thing, having a limb at each corner. That would be shaped by gravity. If you were on a planet much larger than ours, you would need to have bones that were a lot stronger than ours, or you'd have to have legs like an elephant's, very, very thick to resist gravity and things like that. So life would have to be to look like us, would have to be on a similar sized planet or smaller, and it's these things when people, I remember watching somebody talking about an abduction that they'd had, and what they said was they came in contact with people who were 9 feet tall and very, very thin arms and legs, and they said they were built that way because their planet was the size of Jupiter. And at which point then you go, well, no, you were making that up.
No, that's nothing to do with evolutionary biology.
Exactly. So then it's very, very interesting when you hear people talking like that. But when they don't, when they keep to the facts, when they stick to what's in front of them, these are the things that we're seeing, isn't it, Osvaldo?
Yes. No, that's just one of the reasons why I'm hesitant to discuss certain things, because I know some stuff that basically, like I said, there's weird properties to UFO encounters, weird things that happen in the real or legit cases, little stuff that people don't know about, which helps you to indicate whether or not someone's full of shit. And it's very useful. I've used these, to my benefit.
There she is. In the house. Amy, welcome.
Woo!
Welcome.
Another lady. Another UFO girl. What's up?
Yeah.
Amy, are the aliens pink?
Oh, actually, thank
Duh.
you for asking.
First of all,
This is-
yes.
Very nice.
Oh my god, I love it.
Roswell. I got this.
That's
in
so
Roswell.
cute.
I wore it. Yeah, I wore it for the show.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just bought some merch and one shirt was pink and I'm pretty excited for it to come. I'm not going to lie.
yeah,
Like, I
that's-
never see pink merch for aliens. It's always like black
Exactly.
or gray or whatever. So
Mhm.
as soon as I saw pink, I jumped on that shit. Yeah, and I think it's like a cute little tank top or something. Yeah, I'm
pink or
excited.
purple, alien.
Well-
head
Yeah.
there.
Anything really. Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
I know.
I need to get
More
my
girl
pink on.
merch.
Amy, I'm not going to ask you what you think of the alien greys or anything like that, 'cause I know your thoughts on that already. Because you got a bloody alien grey for your channel's logo.
She better believe, honestly. But anyway.
The title to tonight's show, it was bullshit, by the way, because it was just some clickbait stuff that I had to think of at the last minute to do a show. I needed to do
Kind
a
of
show.
good though, not gonna lie. It's good. It's on topic, I think.
Do you actually think? So doing what you do, and you had your craft channel for a little bit where which is a great little channel. I'm actually subscribed to it as well, believe it or not. I like a little bit of craft now and then.
Yes,
And
me
my
too.
mum loves it. She loves craft.
I know we were talking about
Oh, that's
it.
so
Mugs
cute.
on
Okay,
Patreon.
anyway.
So your mom makes the. I know we're talking, but I want the handmade mug. I want the Patreon handmade mug. Just show me the link. I'll buy.
That's
Send
really
you-
cute,
I'll send you
Or is
actually.
it
Not gonna lie.
discontinued? Or is that discontinued? I can understand if it's discontinued.
I do have a couple. What do you think? So you've had this YouTube channel for 1 year now, where you've been talking to guests, you've had your shows, you spoke to many people. You've probably spoke to more people than I have.
No.
No, I think you probably have on live shows, because you have these loads of guests on. I don't know how you handle it, because I'm struggling tonight.
I'm doing the math. I'm doing the math on you, and you've been doing this. I would say, is it 7 years, 5 years?
Yes, but I didn't do the live shows. I've only been doing the live shows probably for a year now.
Yeah. I think over a year, though, to be honest.
Maybe just over a year. Maybe
just over a year. Yeah, I've been
see-
following you since you've been doing the lives at least.
I think I went live for the first time with Dean Delonix in Leeds on a night out where we started to discuss
Really? That was great.
I'm gonna have to watch that, or I'll go back and
listen.
see. Yeah, that's
Too
interesting.
You were very drunk, very drunk.
You know what? It's always good to see where you came from, though. To be fair,
Definitely. You should see my first ever video. It's disgusting.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch.
No, I'm not talking on YouTube. I'm talking about the first video that I filmed on my first smartphone. It's disgusting. You don't want to see it.
I can imagine, but yeah.
Can you
That's
imagine?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
So, Amy, being in this field for a while and being somebody who's just subscribed to start off with to alien channels, but now you're interviewing the people in the alien channels. Do you actually think that somebody out there, they have, I'm not going to say they have the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but they know what's going down. You know, they know that I keep looking at the title of my video to just verify what it's
Who cares
about.
about the time? You're just enjoying
not the time. The title of the video.
Oh, the title.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the truth is actually out there. Do you think the truth is out there?
Yes, I think it's embedded in a lot of different top Black Ops programs. I do think there are people on the planet Earth who know what's going on, straight up. And that's the thing that keeps me going. There are people out there who know. They know the Greys are here. They know they walk among us. They know we've met them. They probably know things about their society. They probably have video. They probably have photos. They probably have multiple witnesses who can confirm this information. So yes, somebody knows.
What's the word? Key. Who knows?
I think people in the government know Deep Ops Black projects. I think there
American government.
Well, your guys are somewhat
the
involved.
American government. Yes, correct. The American government.
What about other nations?
Well, no, it seems like there's some type of international agreement at a very high level. That keeps coming up a lot. In fact, the consistent rumor is that, in fact, the United States and the Soviet Union were secretly very much partners in regards to this till the 80s. In fact, even Bob Lazar spoke about that there were Russians on the base, and then they were not. Something happened. There was some type of falling out, and apparently the rumor is that the aliens got pissed off at the Russians and had them removed from the program.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Bob Lazar, actually? I'm kind of curious, Osvaldo. What do you think about him?
There's more to that story. There's a lot of crazy. If he wasn't
allegations, yeah.
Yes, listen. Is Bob Lazar a perfect person? No, but physicists are like Bob Lazar. They're not these, like this prim and proper nerdy guy. No, they're all making mess.
That was real.
I mean, don't you think after all these years, like he's just telling the truth? You know,
I think that he's telling the truth. He doesn't act like somebody that's out for money, even though it looks like he's probably going to make some at some point.
I know at this point, it's getting very popular.
He doesn't act like Corey Good, he doesn't act like or Stephen Greer for that matter, and these other guys that are making quite a bit of money doing
quite a bit just to fucking promote what we already are trying to disclose. It just
going to make the same documentary and sell it to you.
Fuck, I know. I don't know. Apparently we haven't had enough yet. Apparently. Yeah, I know. I mean, not necessarily that we should just bend down to Bob Lazar, but at the same time, this guy hasn't asked for anything very out of
No,
the
there's-
ordinary, has he? Like,
there's a
I
lot-
mean, has he
Yeah,
really
there's-
made that much money? No, I don't think he fucking has.
There's a
He
lot of
makes
people
Fuck,
synthetic
that,
I mean,
chemicals.
yes, listen, there's a lot of people that
I believe Bob. I really do. I don't think he has an ulterior motive, and especially since the 80s, it's just like,
and the weird stuff that's happened to him legally.
I don't know.
It's like they went
Yeah.
after him and they were afraid to go after him. And they had to pull. This is the type of if you've
Exactly.
seen this type of stuff, you know
Yes.
somebody has something.
Yes,
You know, something's
exactly.
going
No,
on.
I know.
It's illegal to
I
do
mean-
what Bob Lazar did, making
Yeah.
all those claims as well.
Here's-
Something's
I'm gonna-
going on. And then
I'm going to flip
you-
it. I'm going
and-
to say I don't believe a word that Bob says.
Oh no! Fuck.
Did you ever see the
Yeah.
Edward Tuttle interview where
And
they
I'm a
did-
believer.
But you know what?
Let me speak.
I want to hear why. Like, I do want to hear why. Like,
Okay,
what is it about Bob Lazar? What does it?
Okay.
Does he just rub you the wrong way, or what is it
No.
exactly?
No, there's quite a few things actually. Firstly, my understanding is Stanton Freeman looked into his academic background, and he lied about his qualifications. He also lied
Interesting.
about
Yeah.
who his teachers were.
But I mean,
Yeah,
he
lying
said
about
that
your
he had to.
qualifications in the 1980s means you lived and worked professionally in the 1980s.
I agree with.
I
And
mean-
that's not here. That's neither here nor there. Also, there's other stuff that like Bob Lazar has been involved in.
Okay. So let's start with everybody goes on about element 115. Well, element 115 appeared in a scientific journal exactly 1 month before he came out with all of this.
Actually, it appears in textbooks early as a theoretical.
Yeah, it was a theoretical thing.
You know,
Thirdly,
years before that.
element 115. So to put this into layman's terms, right? If you have a road, okay, and it's got house number 1, and then there's a house-shaped space, and then you've got house number 3 there, okay? What Bob Lazar did was said, one day there will be a house number 2, and it will be magic. Yeah, and you'll be able to fit football stadiums in it, even though it's only house shaped. Yeah, that's what Bob Lazar did with element 115. Okay, an element, one element alone, cannot have the properties that he says it does. It cannot.
Well, there's
Now, if you want to generate some kind of very, very highly advanced metamaterial involving the fusing of different elements on a nano level to engineer something, yes, that can have special properties, but one element on its own cannot. And when he talks about it and invoking element 115 to create matter and antimatter, okay, so all you're doing is you're creating one piece of matter, one piece of antimatter, they annihilate each other, that's it. You don't get any extra power out of
he
that.
says that
It just goes
stabilizes,
annihilates.
causes it to
Okay,
stabilize, comes to 116, I think, in the process.
yeah, it
the story.
doesn't. It
Wait,
doesn't
I'm sorry. What's
create
116?
any
It goes from
Yeah.
115 to 116. in the
116.
Yeah,
process.
but what does 116 do?
jumps.
I've
Uh,
actually never heard of
I
116.
think that's
Yeah, I
I think
haven't
that's
either.
I think that's it in its active state.
That's what
Although-
controls the laser beams.
I'm completely lost. Completely lost that way.
Okay,
This
Like,
is
I'm
why I
so
wanted
far
you-
off.
This
Do
is
your
why I
back,
needed
mate.
you. This is why I needed you
I
on.
know who Bob
I wanted an
Lazar is. I've
outsider.
watched-
I wanted an outsider on.
Right,
I'm
right.
outsider.
Okay.
I've watched the videos of Bob
Brilliant.
Lazar. I understand who he is. I've watched him on the normie channels, right? The normie people things. But
Yeah.
Netflix.
I don't know 115. Yeah, no, like Joe
Stay away
Rogan,
from that
you know.
show. That
But
show
I
is
don't
awful.
understand 115. But
Hey, those channels still count, and they still help with disclosure.
Not
Right.
when,
You
not
know,
when you're in the
even
first
if-
episode, you're bringing in.
wait.
my point
Dean,
is,
yeah, go on, Dean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's
this
true.
is where I'm
It's
going
true.
from with this. And like you can reverse engineer technology. I don't know what it's great, but where are they coming from? Where does he say they're coming from? Rich? Where?
Oh,
Where
what
is
you
this?
mean?
I know,
Where
I know,
in,
I know.
Where in the? No, I'll come back to you, Amy. but
Alien
Rich,
girl knows.
These
Let the girl
reticuli-
Rich,
talk.
you
Yes,
tell
I know.
me.
Zeta
Rich,
Reticuli.
Let the woman talk.
Where is this technology
Oh
coming
wait,
from?
what?
Is it dimensional? Is it planetarian? Where is it coming from?
He says they're from Zeta Reticuli, isn't he? That's right. That's Amy was absolutely spot on with that. Yeah.
Is that
So
near
that's where-
Australia?
And what's interesting about that, Dean, is that connects to the Betty and Barney Hill case also. In
That's
the
where it
Betty and
comes
Barney
from.
Benny
Hill
Hill.
case, that's where
Oh,
they said
really?
the Greys
Yeah.
were from as well, from Zeta
Yeah.
Reticuli. I don't know if I pronounced
Really?
it right, Rich
You
did.
still
Yeah,
saying
it is
words that I don't
yeah.
understand.
It's a binary
you
star
said
system.
Benny
We
Hill.
know that it has rock planets now around it. So
But every star has planets around it.
yeah,
most
no,
of
it does. But they actually looked first at this one when they
Right,
were
so-
first doing that. How very
like-
interesting.
Go back
Um,
again. Where are they from? Obviously not this solar system. We're going past the solar system. They're from light years away. What? How many?
I
Well,
think, let me
actually,
Google how far Zeta
one of the
Reticuli is.
birds
Yeah.
that was released by the DoD was basically talking about how they were reworking the Drake equation and taking into account basically like certain like breakthroughs that have been made using ufology. So like they are actively looking for systems. Like, yeah, dude, this is
Just interject.
We
can
should be
remember.
just
looking at
like-
Proxima Centauri first. That's the best candidate that
Yes,
we've got, actually.
yes.
Like being
So
as like a
Dean-
weirdo. We mean in our dimension.
yes.
40
all of this is
All right,
in
this-
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just
This dimension.
It's just
Nobody's
time.
going into other
It's like
dimensions
traveling
yet.
to Birmingham or something. It's like you're traveling.
Absolutely.
You're traveling. That's it. You're in the world. There's no
Yeah, man.
dimensions. We're just in one dimension, and we're traveling to another planet. Right? That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
All right,
Well,
right.
no, well, this is how it works. There's a lot of, listen, you exist in regular 4D space time,
Yeah.
and then you transfer, into like hyperspace for a while to get yourself from point A to point B really fast, and then you
Yeah.
drop back into regular 4-dimensional space. Then you do the opposite when you want to go back. That's how hyperdimensional physics works. It
Right.
doesn't necessarily mean you are from a different dimension. I think a lot of people have convoluted some of these things are related, but I think people have this grand unified field of weird theory that people keep trying to make work is problematic. It's a Rube Goldberg machine.
Just problematic. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just
No, it is
problematic.
wrong. It doesn't
wrong.
function.
All
It
right,
does
that's
not
wrong. Just say
function.
wrong. It does say problematic. It's wrong. But yeah, you think it's from the current the current universe we live in. There's people traveling to us, and it's not from a different dimension, because that's what I'm feeling. You
Well,
don't
no,
think that?
well, that's the thing. Are there beings? Are there non-corporeals, as they call them? Yeah. Are there weird things we call ghosts? Yes.
Yes,
But
for sure.
That's not necessarily the same thing. Now,
Okay.
the fact that they exist as a byproduct of the hyperdimensional nature of existence
Yes,
is
exactly.
interesting, but it's not the same thing as the
Well,
way
just-
people are trying to infer it.
Like
You
just
have-
being
this-
like
this is the problem,
strange.
listen,
Then
One of the
Just
problems
being-
that has gone on for the last 100 years is
just being
that
like a normal weirdo and talking about weird
hold on,
things.
spiritualists have a problem. They take science terms and concepts and attach it to what they're saying when they have nothing to do with this. I'm saying, like, if you want to, people that I felt their energy. Anytime you do that, a physicist laughs. That's like that is like the people say things that they're well meant, but they don't work, and it's not what they mean.
So
Yeah.
when like the Greys, alien Greys, could they be like future humans coming back in time? Is that like weird?
Well,
If I
it
say that
could
two
be.
times, like, is that weird to
I
say?
mean,
Is it a bit like?
But no,
so
it's
human.
not.
I think
What
that's
if
so
they're
human.
all of the above?
Common-
Like, what if
common
it's
assumption, yeah.
There's rumors of sometimes. Listen, this is what it is. Are there extraterrestrials?
Yeah.
Yes. Are there extra dimensionals? Yes. Are they
Are they
some of these-
interdimensional? Yes, maybe.
That's the same thing.
Is that
That's the
what
same
time
thing.
travel
That's-
means?
that's-
Interdimensional.
That's
Well,
it is the same thing.
yeah,
It's
It's so
byproduct
human.
hyperdimensional physics. It is now.
yeah, yeah. True.
That's all one umbrella. That's why it works. That works.
It really could
Yeah.
work, though. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, why isn't it all the way or all of the above?
And some of it is time travel, allegedly. though apparently that's rare. Now, here's
Yeah.
the thing also. You also have to understand when you're dealing with hyperdimensional physics, the energy requirements to go from one star system to another are a lot less than time travel in the sense that you're talking about it. Not the relativistic time stasis, but like, going back to stop Abraham Lincoln from getting shot for some, or what, comic booky, Saturday morning time travel.
Stop One Direction.
No.
I
It
don't
seems
know.
like
I don't think we should just stop in one direction. I mean, it could be
Well,
all
no,
of the
No, I mean
above.
the band One Direction.
possible to do. Like, well, that's the thing. If you depends on the theory. There's some theories that if you,
Dean, I
you
want to
can,
have a beer with
you
you.
can go
Mate.
back in time, but it's actually just a quantum duplicate of a
Yeah.
parallel universe of that version of, like, where everything is exactly the same except there's some dickhead from 2021, like, running around wreaking havoc with an iPhone, for some reason, like it depends on which, like, that I'm not certain of. Like, I don't think anybody is certain of that as an absolute. But that's a possible thing, and it does look like something is going on. There's a lot of something's going on. We're finally getting good explanations. Like I said, that being said, the ufology is about to collapse. It is, as it has existed. It's going away. I don't think we have 6 months. To tell you
What
the
do you
truth.
foresee
Really? Is it
in
that?
the
Is it that
future?
soon? I didn't think it was maybe 2 years.
no, I
If that
think-
happens,
yeah,
Oz,
the
I'll
next
eat my
2
own
years are gonna-
testicles.
The next 2 years,
Live.
yeah, but honestly, given what's going on, like we are becoming mainstream. And again, I keep telling people about this. You need to look at what's going on in the scientific community, the mainstream scientific community. That has shunned us.
Well,
for
Abbey
these
Loeb
decades.
has started, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm saying, dude, we are about to be the bastard king of science. We are the ones that everybody hated and mistreated, but we will have the throne and the crown.
Wow.
And they will be shocked. No, I'm saying we're winning. This is winning, folks. And the thing is, we've done nothing but lose for 3 generations. I don't think that we've lost so much. We don't know what winning is, even when we win. And like, I'm telling you now, like, I'm not saying in 6 months disclosure will happen, but I'm going to say that, like, things are going to get very, very weird and very, very interesting. We're going to see where things go with this situation with China as well, and the UN, which is coming up soon.
2 weeks. Everyone says 2 weeks for everything.
Well, that's
I know.
everybody.
2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling
Who
you now.
knows?
I think I think in 6 months from now, we're going to be a lot further down the road than we were. It's not going to be everything, and by the next 2 or 3 years, we're not going to recognize.
I think
this field.
GUFON might be joining us in a minute.
What I'm going to go. It's a perfect time to go now, Alien Addict. I'm going to go. So before I go, I want to say that the time in England now is nearly midnight. It's nearly midnight. And I was looking out my window and I was looking for lights because we were talking about lights and things in the sky, right? And I saw a light. It was 2 lights actually came down the street, but it was a car. It was a car, but it was actually the milkman. It was the milkman. Why is the milkman?
No,
Milkman coming
Wait,
out.
I'm
You
sorry.
like
You
hate
still
that.
have a milkman?
Yeah, we
Oh my
do in the UK.
goodness.
Honestly,
That's
Oh fuck.
I
That's
cannot
cute.
tell you, Dean,
How
I
the
can't-
hell?
Are you a time traveler?
Yeah. How the hell can a milkman come at 11:30 and expect his milk to still be fresh in the morning?
fucking
I think that's
morning.
disgusting.
Oh god.
Dean, do you have a milkman?
That's kind of
Dean,
crazy.
Milkman,
I'm not gonna lie.
He's there. If he's still there, I'm going out now to knock him out. But I tell you, thank you so much for having me. I really
Dean.
appreciate it. I don't know much about your
Dean,
world,
one
but
second,
I will
one
join you
second.
again.
Dean, before you go, where can we find you? It is in the description, people. So go
Yeah.
subscribe.
Okay,
Dean,
so my
what do you
name is
do? What
Dean.
do you do?
Delonix. I do music, so I like writing music and recording music and playing music, and I have a weird channel as a fat man trying to lose weight and get my life on track. So I'm an alcoholic. I do like bad things. I'm not as nice as I can be. So I'm trying to make myself nicer. So I've got a channel trying to do that. That's all it is. I've got like 10 people watch my videos. So don't worry if you don't watch it. It's not bothering.
Go subscribe. It's a
Go
lot of
subscribe. I
fun.
don't care.
It sounds
on there,
quite
mate.
interesting, honestly.
no,
It
it's
sounds like a
boring as
whole
hell.
variety
Don't
of.
But listen, I've enjoyed speaking with all of you. I've got to go. I've got to do something. I've got to I speak to the milkman. He's giving me semi-skimmed. I want normal fucking milk. Listen, good night,
Go
everyone.
get your milk. Go get your milk.
I've really
Good
enjoyed the conversation. Good night, guys.
See you, Dean.
Rich, Dean just heard you were coming on.
Hello, Rich Giordano.
You and I am going if that man is coming on. I don't even know. I don't think he knows. He doesn't. Dean's not into UFO. He's not even into UFOs. I just
So
wanted.
what did he say?
I just wanted an
He didn't know
outsider.
Bob Lazar?
He was all right.
He knows Bob Lazar. So Dean,
Oh, he knows
Dean-
what those are.
Dean's a good
Wait a
friend of
second.
mine.
Dean said he's leaving because I'm coming on.
No, I'm joking. Don't know who you are. He's not. He's not.
No.
He's
No.
not
Yeah.
into UFOs. He's not into
Okay.
UFOs. He's a good friend of mine. He actually lives up the road from me. He's my old boss. And he has a YouTube channel, so go
That's
subscribe.
cool.
It's in the description. But yeah, I wanted to get an outsider's opinion because Dean is he's Catholic as well. So
That's
but the thing is with this, and Rich, welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome.
Sorry, I'm so
Welcome.
late.
somebody.
Rich, you're like a female, a very attractive female with stubble, and
Okay.
I
I don't feel that sexy.
Speaking of attractive females, where's Artisan gone?
Huh?
She's
Yeah,
disappeared.
Artemis.
She'll be back. She'll be back.
doesn't
This,
like me
this
either.
happens sometimes. No. She was really
But
excited.
welcome to the show.
everybody hates
Welcome to the show, Rich.
Thank
we all,
you.
We all
I
fucking
s-
hate you.
Hey, Rich.
I see people out there asking. Somebody asked Solar Marshall, "How could you team up with Third Phase of Moon since they've been fakers and hoaxers for so long?" Well, I'll answer that question. You don't know them like I do, and they admitted to all the shit they did wrong, and they've tried to correct their ways the last 5 years and have done an exceptional job at it. I was their biggest hater for a decade. I hated them. Literally hated everything they did. Not them personally.
Who?
Third
Sorry.
Phase of Moon.
Third phase.
Oh yeah.
Cousins, brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
are a lot different than Secure Team. Night and day. And if you met the people, if you met the guys, you would know how that shit happened and why they got suckered in the way they did. And they felt
Why do we
bad.
need to spend our time comparing us to other people anyway?
Because
honestly.
the history of this field
I
has
know,
made us
I
why
know.
we are the way we are.
It's
There's
not
a lot
even
of
just this field, it's every single field. Anybody.
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean,
No,
I'm
listen,
tired of
want
it,
to
you
talk
know?
about then? What would you
You
want
know?
to talk about?
Ufology. Listen, ufology
know.
makes you an oppressed minority, and this is a
I
ghetto.
like the
No,
topic.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
rough out here.
Right.
Wear a cup.
It does.
Wear a cup.
But
Dude. Welcome to.
I'm
ufology.
tired
Wear
of
a
it.
cup,
We need to
wear a
fight
helmet,
back.
Get that bat with the nail. You're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Rick-
need to fight back.
No, listen.
we
dude,
are.
No. There's
Now,
no,
now,
like,
guys,
and no
guys.
complaining because
guys.
somebody was mean to you on Twitter. I laugh. when I see that. If
Exactly.
somebody knew,
Yeah.
like, they were mean to me on Twitter. It's like, oh, come on. They used to kick my ass for this shit. You think I'm worried about your feelings? Shit.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think one thing's really, really important. Okay, if we're starting to call ourselves an oppressed minority,
We
right,
are one.
it's really, really important. Okay, listen, everybody. Listen. Okay.
Listen to Rich.
This is what we're going to say now, right? Is but what we
That's
don't
3
want.
weeks. No,
Listen.
it's different.
Listen. What we don't want, right, is for some do-gooder to come and try and white knight all of us and have a go at
Exactly.
everybody else just
Yes,
on our
yes.
behalf and start talking for us, right?
No, yes,
We've got
again,
our own
especially
voices,
those-
yeah?
Those are
Yeah.
gentrifiers.
Chill,
The new
yeah?
people are the
Don't
gentrifiers.
be
Yes.
ideologically captured. Don't be ideologically captured, yeah? You are
too
your
late.
own people, yeah?
What I'm saying, man, everybody wants. That's the problem. Again, the spirituality, bringing that in, just religion. It makes everything religious and political. That's why
Yeah.
like, it's best not to have it. It's best to keep this scientific and straight.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
What the
That's
fuck
gotta
was
be a kid's
that?
toy.
What is that?
Oh,
Now,
boy.
That's a boss.
And that's all
What?
I'm going. Okay, that's the only rant that I'm going to have. Yeah.
No,
To-
the
to all of
chainsaw
you,
thing was
yeah,
you, Rick.
yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
yeah. Just be on the guard for that kind of stuff, because I've seen a lot of people over the past sort of like couple of years, go, these people are shouting on my behalf and they're not saying what I want to be heard. So
Yes.
just make sure that we don't lose our voices and that other people try and start speaking for us. Yeah.
No, that's
What
the
would you
problem.
like
People
us to
wanna
talk about, Artemis Prime?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people are expecting, I feel like people are expecting some kind of, I don't know.
Well, that question's for you.
Mm.
Good
You
question.
keep
Or what
deflecting.
do you want
Such a
to? Or what do
gentleman.
you want to? Or what do you want to ask us?
No, I'm serious. Like you
Ooh.
said, you're tired of people talking about other people and what they've done wrong, and
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I get
I
that. I'm
mean,
tired of it too.
I
But
don't
every time
know.
they
I
speak,
mean,
it's
I agree. And I mean, it's hard to believe everything that people say. And we've been we've been lied to so much in the past that it's hard, even if somebody is telling the truth, I think it's hard to believe them anyway. I think really, I don't expect disclosure to be just one beautiful package, like something that we all open up and is just,
Just half
you
the people
know,
uses the stuff off the
yeah.
top. It's not going to happen that way.
I don't think it will ever happen that way. But I think at the same time
Yeah, and then it's like,
that
you have to be
we've,
an evolved vegetarian, and you can't have voted for Trump or all this other.
yeah, oh
Everybody's
God.
trying to avert
Don't get me started on Trump. I'm not even American.
Everybody's
And
trying to paint their fantasies with this brush, and it's not gonna.
yeah, I mean, I think that maybe a little bit is unrealistic, but I think at the end of the day, we all just want the truth, whatever whatever it is. I think that we've had enough of the sugarcoating, the lying, the covering up, everything. I think that we've just had enough.
so. What do you?
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
for
Go ahead.
yeah, for me, disclosure, I don't know what it is, but I think that I don't know. It's just the beginning to the truth. I think
Well,
it's just finally letting go of lying and holding
disclosure
things
is
back.
and disclosure is proof that aliens or alien technology exists. So
Which I think is already to be fair, I think it's already proven. I
No.
mean,
It's
They
not.
let us- they let us
maybe
know
not like
something, so
directly,
they're
but at
getting
the
ready to
same
let you know next
time,
time.
It's not proven. There's
it's
not
not
one
maybe
UFO
yeah, maybe
video out
not
there that
yeah.
proves that.
Yeah.
That's
I've
true.
seen.
Okay, that's true. I agree.
Also, what do you feel about Travis Walton? Did you guys cover that yet?
We didn't cover that yet.
Possibly
No,
not.
no.
Are you
Possibly
We
gonna
a
haven't.
hoax.
Are you going to be doing that reenactment with Third Phase?
I don't know if I'll be doing it. Not a reenactment, to actually go
Yeah,
there.
no, that's the only way to resolve this. I think.
I look. I haven't talked to them yet, but I will tonight. And I
that's a
don't
good
live in
project.
Arizona anymore. I moved, so it would cost.
What do you mean?
I'm not in Arizona. That's where it
Yeah.
happened. I can't just.
Oh
drive
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's true. It's far.
But we do have people out there that are friends with Travis Walton that could do that and ask him questions, show where they went, and all that stuff. So I definitely want to get into that. I'm working on Gulf Breeze and doing something special for the Gulf Breeze thing.
Yeah, no, a guy just did a video on that, and they basically debunked it. But apparently, if you do a little digging, the guy has a religious perspective. So that tends not to be the best type of way of mentality to go into this type of stuff.
No, it's not. That makes it way more controversial.
Yeah,
but
You see, I'm
Like-
not religious. Sorry. What are you going to say? What were you going to say? Artemis?
No, I just saw a comment and I agreed with it. It's just
What
from
you-
UAP UK Josh. It's just his interview on theories of everything was good. I agreed with that. That's all.
Who's?
I just saw it.
Oh, Travis.
Yeah, I mean, I do
was
agree.
good.
I don't know. It's hard, and it's hard. I don't know. When you want to believe, you have to keep an open mind, but at the same time, why would somebody lie for so many years? Like, it's a lot of years,
Because they made
you
some
know?
money off of that. Lots of money.
But how much money? Really? Like, how much? I don't know. I mean,
Enough that
I
he
could
didn't
be
have to wait.
wrong for sure. Like, I could be wrong, and that's why I always try to keep an open mind, because I'm not an expert and I'm just trying to learn. But
I
at the
mean,
same
it's how it
time, I
works
really
for
don't
him.
know.
He has a job.
You
He
know?
owns a business.
Yeah. But he gets paid for a lot of engagements. I don't know. But nonetheless, he
Yeah.
sold books. You know, there was a movie made and all that stuff.
movie,
and
yeah.
True.
Anyway,
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't know what
it's
to
hard.
believe.
It's hard to know.
That was
It's
one
hard
of my
to know,
favorite
and
cases.
you kind of want it. You want to believe. So when you want to believe, it's hard not to. At the
know.
same time, you know, it's hard not to believe, but you know, you tell yourself you want to keep an open mind, but obviously when you want to believe, I think that already you're going in one direction. But I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I want to believe Travis for sure, but do I know for sure? No. Like, I don't.
Someone's
Do I
just said
want to
7
believe?
million.
Yeah.
Seven,
What?
7 million? Someone's just said 7 million.
Wait, what?
There's no way that
He's
guy
made?
He
No.
does not look like a guy that made
No,
7 million.
no. Yeah. Like,
he-
if he's made 7 million, that's different, but I don't think he has. Really?
Maybe if he had
That
a movie,
person,
like a
whoever
theatrical
commented
feature or
that
a
needs to
Netflix
prove
series,
that for sure. Needs to
but
prove
yeah,
that.
that's a lot of money. 7 million's quite
That's a
bit.
lot of money. That's a lot of money. That person, whoever just wrote that, needs
Especially
to
he must
prove
have
that.
been what, in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, no, that's a lot of money. I don't know who just said that, but they
That
need to
might
prove
be
that.
possible,
Ufology's
though.
not that
Fire
big. Even back
in
then,
the
we
sky.
you know.
Could
For
be
7
possible.
million, I would come on Alien Addict and say I'd been anally probed several times.
With that being
And I would say I enjoyed it.
For 7 million, I'll allow it.
I don't know.
7 million, you can do it, mate.
You're like, it wouldn't even take 7 million.
I don't think that sounds too far-fetched. I think that sounds about
Oh,
right.
that's good.
think
Well,
that sounds
yeah.
about
I
right.
mean, I think if you're gonna put that claim out there, you better have something to back it up. Anything. I don't know.
7 million.
I mean, I'm open to everything, and I'll always say that because I'm not an expert. But at the same time, you better not just be making these claims without any sort of backup. Like, you know, why spread out this
That's your
information on
apology.
somebody? Yeah, I know. That's everything. That's everything.
'Cause it's
Fuck.
always about
Like, I
money.
mean, come on. That's everything out there, you know? There's always people spreading misinformation, but
But this is the guy who was
like,
friends
come
with Travis.
on.
It's not just some dude. It's
Exactly.
his best friend, man.
No, exactly. No, I
Yeah,
agree.
so-
I mean, so it's
Has a little
hard.
more
It's
weight to
it's
it.
really hard. Yeah, I agree. And it's like it's also based on your own like judged opinion, and maybe how you feel about the topic in general, that you're going to interpret these like things very differently than other people. So it's hard for sure.
So, Top
Yeah.
Rich, you said earlier you had problems with Bob Lazar's story, and you don't necessarily know if you believe Bob Lazar anymore. What do you
I
think?
never
What do you
did.
think of Travis Walton?
What concerned me about Travis Walton and the story, and I really only watched the movie recently as well, that he would. It was just how the movie played out to do with, you know, what looked like an abduction, where they saw him being captured in a tractor beam and things like that. It just seemed incredibly far-fetched. I know it sounds daft, but you know, if the aliens wanted to come and take you, they'd just come and take you. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Tractor beam is something like out of the
well, in
science
his
fiction.
defense, they
Movie's not accurate. Yeah, I know.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, no,
Right,
but in
the
his
movie is
defense,
inaccurate
it seems like,
completely.
according to him, he thinks that he was injured. This was not planned. that they were going to have him injured. Again, abductions tend not to take 5 days. You know,
No.
they're usually over and back. They take you, they bring you back quick before, like a strategic team, like they're experts doing this. They don't want to get caught. They want to go fast and out. This was complicated if it happened.
Yeah. So I don't know. As I say, when I watched a few of the interviews, and you know me, I'm quite a heavy reader of people, and he didn't come across as being straight. And the same thing, the same vibes I get from Bob Lazar. I'm sorry, it's just my reading of the person. You know, I sit here and I look at you lot, and you are all absolutely truthful to me. I can't say the same about these other people. I'm sorry.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
Because you know, you can look at somebody and you can say, okay, are they speaking their truth, or are they doing it to get a rise from other people?
Yeah.
And this is always what I get from some of these people. When they're talking about it, they're looking at the other person and they're gauging what the reaction is, rather than actually revealing what they're actually talking about. And
their own feelings.
If you look hard enough, you see that. That's why. And to me, that's always the tell. There's two tells. There's one, are they trying to get something from somebody else? And number two, are they checking whether that person believes them or not all the time? You know?
Yeah.
I think this is for you, Rich. I don't think it's for GUFON, because everybody knows what GUFON Rich thinks of. I think this might be for you.
Okay. So really, really interesting. Okay, what I think about Luis Elizondo. Luis Elizondo is a professional at the release of information. Okay, and what he does is he plans every step of what he's doing. Okay, he has an objective to, and I don't know what the next objective is. He's talked about it, but what he does is he releases the minimum amount of information to get to the next milestone. Okay, and he will not release any more information until that milestone is reached, and then he decides, okay, what's his next milestone and what's the minimum amount of information that he can release to do that. Okay, and all he's doing is he's going, okay, I will talk about truthfully what I know, okay, up to a certain point, and then he'll hide behind his NDA. And if you've noticed, his rhetoric has changed with every single point that goes on. So when TTSA first came out, when he was on board with TTSA, and he was talking about, and he was in the series, it was always about the threat. And the reason why it was about the threat was to raise public opinion and to get Congress on board to start asking questions to the Pentagon. Okay, so, and almost as soon as that request was sent out, you know, the COVID request for the UAP report, his rhetoric changed. And if you notice, he started engaging more with YouTubers. He started talking about all of this new information. And when
that's not why.
What he was talking about then was, when everybody was asking him about, are they ET? This is what he was saying. He was never saying that they could be ET. What he was saying was, well, they could be extra dimensional, they could be this, they could be that, they could be ultra. And he was
Esoteric.
talking about everything but ET. Okay, so what's he doing? He's actually saying, he's trying, it's what he doesn't say that's really, really important. Yeah.
That's true. But I do think that, I don't know. I mean, I think obviously he knows so much more than he leads on.
He says he
Yeah.
does.
Which is his
But
job.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't want to get killed, for what he's talking about. And I can appreciate that.
I don't think, yeah.
But I don't know.
This was always going to come out the way it's going to come out. It
Yeah.
was always going to be played.
Yeah.
It was always going to be spun. If
But
you
this
think,
is the-
it's not true disclosure, grow up. You're not
But
going
this
to
is
get.
the But this is the
Yeah.
job. This is the job of a counterintelligence person. Okay, and you've got to look at his background. You've got to look at where he is. Okay, and once again, what he will do is he will speak the truth to you. He won't lie, because when you lie, you get caught out. Okay, so he will either say he doesn't know, or he will
Or he
say
can't talk.
or he will say he can't talk. But he will
Yeah.
never. So people saying he's lying, he's grifting. That's the thing that's all over the internet at the moment, isn't it? Oh, these people are all grifters. He's not grifting. He's being economical with the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's lying, or
No.
at least I think that he believes in what he's saying, for sure. You can tell when he needs to slow down as to even his thoughts. Whether he's, I don't know, whether you believe he's telling the truth or not, it really looks like and feels like he's trying, I don't know whether it's true or not. When I'm hearing him, I at least feel the fact that he wants the same thing that we want. Whether it's the same route or not, that's a different story.
Well,
but I definitely feel like he wants the same thing that we want. And I definitely feel like he's being genuine. And I mean, I know that there's so much controversy with him, and I know that he's done so many interviews.
He's a professional liar.
A lot. I mean, even if he's not a professional liar, he does say a lot of the same things in different interviews. But at the same time, if he can't talk about more, then he can't fucking talk about more. But I don't know.
Never violate
it's
my
hard.
National security for disclosure. It'll never.
It's
happen.
true.
Hey,
But I mean, wait. But GUFON, if you were potentially threatened with your life, but you at the same time had this feeling of an obligation to the world,
he doesn't,
and to yourself, like I don't know, if you were so conflicted, would you not?
Julian Assange,
but you don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure. I don't know that for sure. But he does seem genuine. Do you not think at all, like a little bit genuine? Like really?
Of course he wants disclosure, but he can't give it out to us. But I don't.
No, maybe not, because of his previous jobs. I mean, if I could have been killed, or if my kids, I know, sorry. If like my kids could potentially be killed over like what I knew or what I didn't know, I mean, would I disclose it? No. I would leave it silent if it meant like the harm of my family.
You're falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. This is exactly what they want.
But if it was for your family, it's hard.
Oh,
so Rich,
I know. I get both sides, though. I get both sides.
Okay.
I get both sides.
What's the objective? What do you think their goal is for this?
The goal is this. They're getting us to look one way, while the reality is I think we cracked the code or figured out this alien technology or new technology where we can go hypersonic and do the things we think that are alien technology. I think we're testing it on the best in the world, which is our military, our Navy and everybody else. And Lou his job is to get everybody like Richard Doty, one thing here and another thing's happening over there. So for him to bring this up and say, we know it's not China or Russia. Yeah, he knows that. But and to say, I'm not quite sure if it's us, I don't think it is, but maybe it's something else. Well, he can't admit it's us, because then we'd give our hand out to the rest of the world that we have this technology we somehow figured out.
That, or he just gets killed for it. So I don't know. Like, is it really worth it for him? For him personally, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, I see both sides of it for sure. I see both sides.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on all of this. Okay, I don't think that we figured anything out.
No.
Wow.
I don't think that. I think that we've got some physicists who have looked at some pieces or parts or something like that, and they've pieced together part of the puzzle. They've worked out. Okay, these craft might do this. They might do that. They can work out how much energy is required to do it, but they don't know precisely how to do it. I still think that this disclosure is what they would call a limited hangout, in as much as they want to give away as little as possible. But I think they still have to give some of it away.
They don't have. They're not giving us anything.
We've caught up.
Like, I mean, GUFON, I agree with some of what you're saying. I think for sure we have a lot of information. And I do think that there's a lot that we are not disclosed as a public that we maybe should be, for sure should be, actually.
Yeah, why is he even talking about it if he's concerned about his family and his life? He shouldn't even be on TV talking about it.
It's true, but maybe he has that conflicting opinion, just like everybody else, where they're like, I want to stay safe and I want to keep my family safe, but at the same time, I feel this calling in me that says that we need the truth out there, because the truth is what matters and the truth is what everybody believes in. But maybe he has that conflicting opinion as to everybody else. I could be wrong, and I know that for sure.
The first time that happened, like if you do research, a lot of the guys that not just Delonix, a lot of the people that were in Blue Book later on went into UFO research, like former military guys, quite a few of them.
I mean, people only tend to tell the truth once they're retired, and it's why is that? Because we don't help them enough.
With debunking, and they couldn't say what they were doing, but they did do other work to try to repair some of that damage.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's two sides to every story, and I don't think anybody's perfect in this at all, like whatsoever.
Yeah,
do I think Elizondo's perfect? No, but at the same time, do I think maybe he wants what we all want? Yeah,
but who cares?
Maybe he's under.
He can't.
Maybe he's under more. I don't know. Maybe he has just so much to lose, or he cares so much about his family that he doesn't want to risk it. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, Of course, that I think it's all of the above. And I mean, if your family was at risk, what would you do? What would you do as a man of power or a woman of power?
Look what happened to Bradley.
The relevance, but...
I mean, Chelsea Manning,
I just think I'm not clueless.
Who
Sorry,
said that?
I just saw a comment that said secure team. Oh my God, she's clueless. I'm like, I'm not clueless. Maybe I'm optimistic. That's all it is.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think that means I'm fucking clueless. I just think that means that
Definitely.
maybe I want to see the best in people. Maybe that is wrong, but at the same time, we're humans.
You haven't been burned enough.
Yeah, maybe
No,
not.
that's
Maybe
true.
I've been burned by the wrong people, but at the same time, I don't think that we should just give up on not only humanity, but what we could be, and what we could be together, or what we could be separate, or what we could be combined. I mean, I just don't.
Ufology, though.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
well,
I mean,
wanna
it could be.
piggyback-
It
I wanna
really could
piggyback
be.
on what Artemis just said.
Listen, we've
do.
always
Could
been at
be.
each other. Listen, we've always been at each other's throats. Highly competitive people are always at each other's throats. I'm from New York City. Trust me.
Yeah.
And the sciences are like this. Ufology is a science. That's an underfunded
Yeah.
science.
I do think we should follow
start
the
with too much
science.
shit,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but as science we are. Even though people treat it like a religion and they shouldn't, and cause so much damage because they do. It's just like, listen, this is a rough field. Like I keep saying, and a lot of these guys that are coming in, well, you're not being polite. It's like, no, listen, you're not going to last here. You're probably just going to be in this for a year or two and then go back to what you were doing before ufology. Like we'll see if you make it 5 years, doing this stuff. And there's people like myself that done a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I don't claim to have any of the right answers. I just think that we need to be a little bit more open-minded, and I think that no one has the right answers. And do I think that we should just be,
it's a tight
you know,
fence. You have to have your mind open, but not so open that your brains fall out, and that's what tends to happen.
I agree.
People
I
lose
do
their
agree.
fucking minds.
Yeah, or they
whoever
just
said
lose
that-
focus.
Whoever said that when this comes out, some people would go crazy, were right, because we've seen that as a microcosm already within the UFO community. Imagine that in the general population. I'm saying, man, I think once this comes out, we're going to have like 10 years of recoil.
Yeah.
People not knowing really what to do with themselves with this shit.
Guys, do you ever just look in the mirror
Yeah.
though and just think, you know what? We actually have no fucking answers.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't, and I don't claim to ever
No,
have
what
the
I'm saying-
answers.
I know
I
what I'm
just
saying.
think that you need to have an open mind and like, I don't know.
So personally, because I like to think
who has
about
the open answers? Yeah.
North Korea a lot. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, we got
Okay,
you, Amy.
Yes,
'Cause
please
I
talk.
like to
Please.
think about North Korea a lot, and what you're saying, Ollie. I think
Careful
about
what you
that.
say. Careful what you say about that on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll stop.
Yeah.
I'll stop
Go for
with that. But I'll stop with that. But basically, when it comes down to it, we don't know what our confines of our reality actually looks like. There are places in the world where people are totally disconnected from the reality of what's going outside of their country.
You watched
And-
the Joe Rogan interview.
I actually follow that human rights activist, and I've been following her for about 2.5 years. I'm a huge fan. I go on her live streams and I'm like, what's up? Because her stories have blown my mind. I've always had, I don't want to know, but the point is, what I'm trying to say is we don't know how much of our Earth is an exact replica of that, right? Like, we don't know what's beyond the shroud. Thank you. We don't know what's beyond the shroud of our own Earth. Like, it could very well be that on the other side of the planet and the atmosphere, there's eternal life, because we have the ability and the technology to live as long as we want, right? Or like any sickness can be cured. If we have no idea what's on the other side, like what kind of tech the aliens have that they could, it's very feasible that they're hiding the most amazing treasures and jewels of the cosmos from us for some reason, just as we see with other countries who have been imprisoned where they are. And I think about that. When I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, I say, what if somebody came up and Osvaldo was saying, people confuse science and religion. I don't know if I do, because I try to be as fact-based as I can. And I try to ask myself every day, what would I do if these standard facts of my life were suddenly thrown in the trash and somebody came up and they said, Amy, gravity isn't real, right? Stuff that I've built my life around. All of us, we've built our life
It's
around
not
the idea
real.
that but that's what I'm saying is, if something like that happened, you'd have to totally start over with how. So yeah, that's all I want to say.
Amy, can I just add to that? I think you said a really pertinent point about aliens or extraterrestrials having some fantastic things. I'd like to just add a counterpoint to that, in as much as they might be dealing with problems on such unfathomable scales that you and I cannot possibly comprehend or understand. And moving into that sphere could conceivably destroy us as people, because of the kind of problems that we deal with. You wouldn't invite a couple of earthworms on a city planning council, it would blow their minds. And similarly, yeah. So it works both ways. So, you know, opportunities and problems as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying, man, we go into remote areas and make deals with the biggest tribes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not really like that makes a lot of sense. You know, that's possibly what, or even probably what's actually going on. You know, that we don't know about. You know, that there are existing agreements. It's like, listen, we want this kept secret. You guys are going to keep this secret, or maybe there's like, listen, we need this to be quiet for X amount of years, and or maybe that they're like saying like, all right, now you got to do this. Like, it'd be interesting to see how much actual control like we have over this file. Even
Well,
if we have it.
I'll be pissed if Stephen Greer is right about having a little box in my house that can generate as much energy as I need for the rest of my life. If that's real, I'll be pissed.
Yeah,
I
no,
would
those
be mad.
those things are probably they're over Unity devices of some sort. Like in order to do what they're doing, like you need a huge amount of energy. So like that's probably breakthrough number one was the ability to generate that much energy, and then to do the things in physics that they're doing, too. Like that's probably breakthrough number two. And then like, you know, then space travel just comes naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Oz, are you totally like? I mean, I know we've gone through this before about Stephen, the doctor, the Mr. Greer, Dr. Greer. Sorry, Stephen, I love you, my man. Like, share, subscribe. Steve, Dr. Steve, can I use that on a T-shirt? I would earn a fucking fortune if I could, and I'll share you it. I'll share that with you. Just let me know. My email, alienaddict.uk@gmail.com. Stephen. Dr. Stephen. Sorry. Oh my God. 1 minute.
He's behind you.
Mitch, 1 minute Lou is snorting cocaine off the back of your chair. The next minute it's Tucker Carlson. Now it's Greer. You're fast, my friend. You're faster than I am. Because Rich, you kind of, I won't say you changed his tune on the Doctor, but
Me?
you've met him. You know, you've been face to face in an interview with the guy. You said, you messaged me immediately after and said, you know what, he was a fucking lovely bloke. But you didn't say it in an English way, but you kind of, in the American way, you told me that he was a beautiful man. You know,
Very cool guy.
Had extremely big hands. You told me that.
He did.
Whoa, TMI.
Yeah, really.
Shook his hand.
Caress you gently with those hands, those big hands. Did you lose yourself in the?
A little bit. Felt like a little boy.
Oh my God.
Felt like his kid.
You've been speaking about Greer for a long time, Rich, and you've always had your ups and downs with him, and so even still now, sometimes you're like, hey, there's some stuff he does that I just don't like, but you know what? I really like what he did with this. And are you still on that wave level? Are you still on that level after what he did with the little documentary put out?
I never got off of the way I felt about him. I know CE5 doesn't, nor has it worked for me, and I've done my own version, tried his version, even bought the book and everything, and
you got bored, huh?
Yeah, it was awful. He tells you that if you know it won't work maybe on the first try, but if you try up to 5 or 6, he actually says 5 or 6 tries, by the third or fourth time you feel like an idiot. You're like, this isn't gonna work, you know. But I've done it deeper than that even before I got to him. But now I'm saying, okay, people pay a lot of money to see him, $250 to go watch his movie and hear him speak and everything.
I'll go camping so he can mind fuck you.
Yep, that too.
He can camping so he can mind fuck you, dude.
But these are adults paying for it, and if it makes them feel good, and if they think they're talking to aliens, then God bless them, have fun. I don't think they are.
Why not?
Yeah, but that causes damage, though. There's people that can't
does.
handle that, and then they lose their lives, and they think they're fighting for a cause, and it doesn't exist.
I agree.
Yeah, it's the conspiracy theory.
It's a mess. It's why they can't be allowed. That's why I pick fights with these people, and why I keep it scientific. It's because there is damage. I've seen people's lives ruined Maybe not smart people, but decent people, and
Most
people nonetheless.
Yeah.
And that they should be protected from that.
And
I
this is
agree.
also what I
Anyone.
Or
talked
at least
about when I
warn.
talked. You missed my rant, Rich. I talked about people. Oh, well, did you? My ideological capture thing. Don't be ideologically captured.
No, I
and
missed it.
yeah, and I believe. Well, we're now calling ourselves a hard done by minority, which we are, which is fine.
Yeah.
But obviously, don't let other people try and take on the mantle for us and shut us up so that they can have a go at everybody else, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But also, I think Stephen Greer, with what he does, he is a bit of an ideological capturer as well.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
you have
No,
to be
no,
careful.
listen. All cults don't require you to live in a compound. Honestly.
Well, they don't. They don't now. Not when you got the internet.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's and if it quacks like a duck, listen. I'm going to put it to you this way: anytime somebody tries to present themselves as a spiritually evolved person, man or woman, it's horseshit. It's horseshit. When anybody tries to sell you on that type of stuff, it's just not true. Human beings just are there's listen, there's certain people with certain abilities, but most of those people don't have cults. And all those people that do have cults don't have those abilities.
Right.
Well,
always the
technically, some
opposite.
people
So that's
believe
the thing.
that
The
the
people
Christian.
listen, it's kind of like UFO abduction. The people that have had those things happen are terrified of that shit. They don't want you to know that they were involved in that.
Yeah.
Very few people are willing to put their face and their name out there and actually take that type of heat. And with good reason. Like when I was a kid, I was much more open about things. I said stuff on television interviews I would not say now.
Mhm.
Because I paid huge prices for that shit. I learned. I will not speak of those things again until after we maybe get a little bit more disclosure.
Would you agree, though, Oz, that we've been talking about religion, we've been talking about certain ideas of how the human race has evolved, of where we've come from for a long time, but only over the last 100 and odd years have we actually discussed it in a scientific way. So our science is very new compared to the ancients. So it's almost like we're calling the ancients thick fucking bastards that
They
actually
were.
knew
Dude,
fuck
they had
all.
IQs of
No,
70.
no. Hear me out here. Hear me out here, because we're talking about civilizations as well that disappeared. We're talking about the Incas that fucked off.
Oh yeah, no, but if
we
you
talk.
look
We
at the
talk. No,
civilization,
wait.
it looks like
Hold the mouth. So we're talking about civilizations that have disappeared. They've gone missing. But these civilizations depicted things. They showed star charts. They showed all sorts of things. Yeah. But our science now is literally telling us that this is how. So we have got to trust in that science. How do we know that we're not being manipulated? How do we know 100%? Because as much as you know your shit, you ain't, you know, well, no, wait. This is not me having a dig. This is me just being real. We all know a shit. No, we all know a shit. Yeah. We all know a shit when it comes to whatever subject, whether it's, I know my shit when it comes to how to draw graphic design picture. I know my shit on how to edit a movie. I know my shit on how to just take a shit. Okay. But at the end of the day, if something is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of people doing this shit, but yet we're only 100 fucking years into it, just because we're advanced to that level. Yes, we have. I'd agree with we have totally advanced. But when somebody says to me, there's no such thing as the spirituality, there's no such thing as this, prove it to me.
Simple.
How? How is that simple?
Okay, well, I every time we ever wrap something, and I've said this before, every time we've ever wrapped something up in a spiritual veneer, whatever it is, and we used to do that with everything. There was a god for everything. There was a god and a goddess, and they had a hierarchy, and they had children, and there were different temples for this and that, and you go for that, one for gout and one for marital problems and etc. You can't have a kid, or you're not getting pregnant, what have you. The example I like to use is lightning. One of the things that we used to make a big deal about spiritually was lightning, because lightning was, there's this guy, his name is Zeus, and he throws the lightning at you when you piss him off. You do something, you didn't make the right sacrifice or whatever it is. And the thing is, people were mystified. Lightning, that's like a bizarre ass thing when you're primitive, and you'd have no schooling, you never saw a movie, nothing. That's like, and you can really base a cult on that, and they did for thousands of years. But then over time, people started studying the lightning and noticing things about the lightning, and then it seemed like it wasn't striking people because they pissed somebody off. It seemed to have actual, weird relationships with certain things, and then certain minerals and things like that they pulled out the ground. Over time, they started scraping the spiritual veneer away from that. It was no longer about Zeus or even Jehovah, which is the same thing. Zeus and Jehovah are the same. The bearded man in the sky throws the lightning. It's just the Jews had their version, and the pagans had another version. And the Jewish version became the Christian and the Muslim version, and so forth. But over time, we started learning about, stripping away that spiritual veneer. We went from lightning to electricity. And then from there, we got, solid state physics.
You're telling me history there. You're telling me history.
Okay, but the point is the reason why is because spirituality is a figment of our imagination. It is what we do when we don't have enough answers.
But you understand what I'm saying about civilizations that have disappeared. They disappeared. One of the reasons they disappeared is because they didn't have enough science and technology. I mean, honestly, look at the Mayans. Do you know how much resources they put into to killing people just to appease the gods? If they had put that into like infrastructure or something, or and they had writing and things like that, they just didn't do as much with it. That's the thing. If you and you see that time and again up throughout history, and it seems like the less religious people tend to make huge amounts of progress. You see that even now. You have Judeo-Christian nations tend to produce more technology because they're less theocratic, whereas you see like Muslim countries, not so much. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirituality.
Well, that's the same thing. Religion and spirituality. No, listen.
I disagree.
Spirituality is
I think religion and spirituality
is watered down. Do it yourself religion. At the end of the day, it's how you feel about stuff and the self-satisfaction that you resolved it to your, preference. For the most part, for most people, that's what they do with that. It's not very scientific, it is very personal. But that's the thing. Like, what is very scientific? It isn't personal and works for all of us. Your cell phone, your computer. So something about that is a lot more powerful than the subjective, than something that's subjective.
Hold that thought, Rich. We speak on we used to speak on a daily basis till we got busy. You motherfucker, speak to me more. But you've had things in your life happen that you just cannot fucking explain. You just can't explain those things that happen. The things that go bump in the night, the things that put your hairs on the end of your arm, the things that create a memory that you will never forget. And as human beings, that really interests it blows my fucking mind. It really does. As much as UFOs, in fact, as much as are we alone in the universe, and I think the two things are very linked together. And I know, Oz, you totally disagree with that, and that's why I love you, because I want somebody to. If we were all the fucking same, we'd be boring.
Right.
Exactly.
Hey, there's things we can't explain. Call them paranormal, but are they connected? I sometimes think that they are, but when people keep seeing apparitions of somebody holding a lantern, or whatever over and over, that to me is odd. That's something I think that has to do with the Earth and.
Oh yeah, dude, that could be like a space-time dent that repeats itself like a record. like a skip in a record. You know, that could be a capture. That could be a capture of photons from 100 or 1,000 years ago. That just for some reason keeps replaying itself in the same area.
We never see dinosaur ghosts.
Yes, exactly. Well, some people are trying to use that as a stretch for like the Knockless monster not being there.
Oh, I see.
But no, you don't see ghost dinosaurs. You know, maybe a headless horseman, and ghost dogs. That's what I've heard. You know, but but then again, that's also again, those are ancient people trying to interpret something, and then they add stuff to it. And there's stories of, there's a medieval depiction of what they called an anchor, which basically in the old English meant made of metal. So anything made of metal was an anchor. And they said this anchor came down from the sky, and it was by this town, and there was smoke coming out of the anchor, and a demon popped out. And they started throwing rocks at the demon, and the demon ran back into the anchor, and it went back to hell. Apparently, you know, and this is a real, you know, explanation. Now, like, I tell this to you, you think that's clearly an extraterrestrial alien, whatever that is, you know, and they interpreted that thing as a demon because it looked weird and it creeped them out, and it wasn't beautiful and, you know, attractive, when they would have thought it was good, because again, people were idiots, and, you know, then they had IQs of 70 and were drinking wine with lead, you know, everybody was drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Like and then went from wine to gin, so it got worse.
Yeah.
In fact, they introduced beer drinking deliberately. The the European royal families changed society to beer drinking because everybody was like out of their minds and nothing was getting done. You know,
they boiled it.
And then on top of that, they had toxins. Yeah. And the stuff, and these are like the same way you don't want kids eating lead chips because it diminishes their intelligence. You don't want them drinking a lead wine, you know, even with a little bit of water in it.
This went back to the Roman times when you had the lead conduits.
Yes, exactly.
Whole cities were poisoned.
Like, understand, like, life was awful, and then, like, you know, and then you had an elite that knew a lot of stuff, but they kept it to themselves. You know, up to and including probably some things about extraterrestrials, and we are very fortunate to be alive when we are now. Like honestly, like you look, you know, these things. And you look back at history, it's like, oh, that's why they did that dumb shit. Wow. I see. They really did. They were drunk. They were half retarded. They were out of their minds. And they had these ridiculous.
Sounds like my type of place.
They
had these crazy.
So much how we're so lucky to be born where we were.
Unlike the cell phone, it didn't work for everybody.
Right.
Like I said. So
again, Artemis, you were saying something. Yeah.
Wait, I gotta go, Ollie. I have a show in 10 minutes.
Oh, sorry, Rich. Rich, we're not going to run over. Don't worry. We'll send them over to you. No. I don't do that. So yeah. Rich, thanks for joining us. You got a show in 10 minutes. Yeah. What's it about?
Yeah. It is about, well, it's ironic that you guys brought it up. People who are whistleblowers, and are they risking their lives? I'm going to spend a little time on Phil Schneider.
Yay.
Oh, right. Sounds good. Yeah.
And Elizondo. Did he risk his life? It's funny that we were talking about it.
I went to Dulce and I took some awesome footage of the Dulce alien base. Anyway, so I'm excited about watching your show. I love Phil Schneider.
Oh, you'll like it. I got a little surprise for us, so it'll be good. But thanks, Ollie, for having me on. Sorry I was so late.
Don't worry about it, mate. It's absolutely fine. If you do it again, I'll just send you a picture of my penis.
No. The first time you did that, it scared me. But it was an alien. A one-eyed alien? What the hell
little thing that was freaky, I know, right?
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah. The Atacama, all shriveled, yeah.
No, it's not.
There was a lot of therapy involved.
Still going on.
He's got a probe.
So good.
All right, man. It was good.
Thanks for joining
us. Let's catch up too.
Yeah,
okay.
We will, Artemis. Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Sounds good.
See you guys.
Okay, bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Guys, I am gonna close very soon because I don't want to run over into Rich's show because it's not fair. Though I think at some point it's just gonna have to be fair because I think there's that many people gonna pop up and they'll be.
Yeah, we'll definitely just have to do this again, I think.
Maybe we could do a show between shows, you know.
Yes.
Like
I'm down anytime. Just let me know.
the show back.
I'm always here.
Well, all of you are welcome on any time because I like open
Yeah,
minds.
this was very fun. I loved it. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is great.
I'm gonna drop my email because I may have put it in the description, but I usually forget. So, guys,
It's spelled wrong, Ollie.
Is it what?
It's spelled wrong.
Oh, suck my dick! Seriously.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, it is. It is. It is. Yeah. Oh my god!
I've been putting that. Somebody may have that email address and they've probably got random.
Like, so good.
Once upon a time, I slept with an alien. I don't know. Yeah, some guy in Russia's getting emails about alien experiences. What's spelt wrong? Actually, I can't even tell.
Because I got yours from the chat.
Suck a dick. Sage of cheese.
Oh, fuck. So good.
I can't wait for the subtitles to come out for this.
I know, right? Suck a dick.
I tried to email you a couple times. Yeah, it happens. Whatever. You're having fun. You have an awesome show. You know what's impressive, Ollie, is that you have fun on your show, and at the same time, you get
so
a following
much fun.
and 100 people in the chat and 7,000 people subscribing, and people love watching your show. You can be casual and laid back, and you hang out, and people want to hang out with you, man. So who fucking cares?
Yeah, it's a great energy, honestly. I will come back anytime, Ollie. Honestly,
you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very good.
I like open minds. I like people that have not open minds. I like people have different views because that's what makes the show.
Or just I don't know, or just don't get too caught up in your own view. Even if you do have a strong opinion, I think it's good to have values and your own opinion, but at the same time, no one on this planet, I think, has 100% of the answers. So why aren't we keeping an open mind anyway? I mean, I think, come on, you know?
You have to be triple blind in what you do. You have to account for your own.
Let's just be open-minded and kind to each other. And I think we all just want the same thing at the end. So, like, for me, I think that's always going to be what I advocate is just, like, keep an open mind, be kind to each other, and, like, this is exciting. Like, this is a lot is going on. A lot has already been released. Like, I think that we need to celebrate how far we've come already. And I know it just doesn't, maybe it doesn't feel like that for everybody, but oh man, especially to the people who have never heard or like who really keep a closed mind on this topic, to finally hear a little bit more from the government and from just the public, that's big. And I think we need to remember that. We need to remember that so much because that's really important. And that's what's that's what's opening up the conversations to everybody. So we really have to keep that in mind, I think, and just be hopeful.
Can I conversely say as well?
Yeah.
You don't have to be kind to me. Just say what you want. You know.
I mean, yeah.
Everything,
but it does help. I mean,
no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And no matter how hard, how hard you push at me, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
You know,
yes.
We're friends,
but at the same time,
in this field that need to be called out for the shenanigans that they pull. This is not. Again, this is a rough neighborhood. You can't be you can't be nice to everybody. You can be, you know.
No, I agree. I think you should still hold your ground, but at the same time, why are we approaching this subject with violence anyway? And that seems to be always our response. So I just think that, you know, I know it's not realistic always. I agree. Like, I'm not in the clouds here, you know. It's just a hope, I guess, you know. But I know that it's not always realistic, but it should be a hope for all of us, because I don't think we're going to get anywhere if we're still violent to each other or if we're still barbaric to each other. I don't think we're going to get far enough, you know?
That's actually the opposite, because we're getting that now and we're barbaric as fuck.
I mean,
nasty
yeah, we are. We're assholes.
If you're waiting for the perfect time for this.
No,
and we'll
there's never
evolve,
going to be.
it never
No.
happens.
Yeah,
You are dealing with human beings, even if you're dealing with aliens.
we're very
You know,
emotional
we
and
are. You know,
very
we have
reactive, for sure.
nature. We have a nature. You know, and we may not
Yeah.
like it, but it needs to be respected and observed and acknowledged.
But
I agree.
all I could
I
say
agree.
is
But
I would rather you speak, and thank you for speaking your truth to me, and I'd like it to go on regardless. So if you think I'm out of line, you tell me I'm out of line. Yeah. And we're
Yeah.
friends. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I don't think anybody's out of line, and I don't think anybody's right or wrong. I just think that we need to. I don't know. I just think that we need to stay focused on the bigger picture, you know? And I think that we do need to remember to be kind to each other, because if we're going to be caught up in our differences and in the negative, we're still going to be held back. Like, we're not
These
going to move
conversations,
forward.
though, they
you
stop
know?
being negative, and they've come to start talking about truth when you start talking about facts.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
These
Yeah,
conversations,
for sure.
if you actually like sit down with the biggest
course.
skeptic or the most religious person, you know, if you sit down and you say, okay, we're not going to talk about theology. I don't want to hear about your opinion, your politics on it. And you just start to talk about fact, because the idea that we have behind these debates is that we're trying to convince one another, and you can't change someone's opinion about a fact. You can try, but the more facts they have, right, and they develop those opinions, it's just that's what I've noticed is when I start to
agree.
have conversations with people and they get really passionate, really really energetic, kind of scary sometimes. When I find myself having conversations with people like this, I stick to the facts and I say, hey, you know, I'm not trying to debunk your religion. I'm not trying to debunk your intelligence or tell you that your opinion's not valid. I'm simply asking you to tell me this is a fact we're talking about. And so much of the time, people jump into an opinion. People really have difficulty between the difference of fact and opinion. You think it's just something that you learn in grade school. It's not. Adults don't know the difference between fact and opinion. They don't. They don't understand. It's amazing.
I agree. But we get caught up in it as well.
You know.
And there's no reason to, because what we're looking for is the truth. We're looking for the facts. Like, we want the data. We want all this. We want, you know, there's a lot of conjecture. There's half the fun of the ufology field is the fact that this was crazy. And then we heard that the Venusians came down and they went and met the president. Like, but we all know that it's a story that we can't prove. Okay. We have, and maybe there's a fact, maybe there's an artifact. And it comes down to that, really. Like you're saying, we really don't know unless it's a fact. And that's what's been tremendous about this last year. It's been fact after fact after fact. If you read or listen to the audiobook of Extraterrestrial by Avi Loeb, it becomes increasingly apparent that everybody kind of agrees there's aliens. It's not just this, you know, most people, you walk down the street, find a random friend, they're like, yeah, there's intelligent life somewhere. Of course there is.
Yeah, but
like
then they'll
most
go into their half-cocked take on it, though. That's based on, like, nothing, unfortunately, usually.
Yeah, I think that's more conditioned from what we see in the movies, honestly.
Cop-out. Well, you know, the universe is so big. You know, like, that's the same question.
Yeah.
And it's not. We're not talking about out there. It's about down here, like currently, not even ancient.
But I do think, though, that people very often conflate disagreement with hate.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's true.
Rich.
Yes.
Excellent point.
This weird aversion to conflict that people have when life in existence is conflict based, and this idea that we're going to force ourselves not to think negative thoughts and these other weird control mechanisms. That's what those are. That don't work. They don't work. You're a human being. You're supposed to have doubts. You're supposed to have fears.
And maybe that's something that's new to the human species, since we are like little babies of the internet. All 5 of us on here, we all, we got the internet in our lifetime, and we're like, holy camole. And maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe in the future, we can live in a world where we have facts. And because we have the internet, maybe we can all accept the fact that we don't know everything, but we have the internet to assist us, to help us navigate and make good decisions, right? Like, this has transformed humanity, the internet. Anyway,
to push us in the right direction.
Is Artemis all right? Is Artemis all right? I haven't said anything, have I? No.
No. She's probably having a cigarette or something, but it's fine.
So.
I don't actually mind if you smoke on the show. I couldn't care less.
No. Yeah. So guys, don't ever be afraid to have a go at me. I won't take it personal, and speak your minds. It's really important.
That's also, guys, I am going to end the show because Richie's show starts in 3 minutes, but I will put you both all down at the bottom. So if you want to talk for 5 minutes before I go to bed, that's absolutely fine. So I will be back there.
Yeah, please get my Twitter right.
Get your Twitter right.
Yeah, it's not that weird gobbledygook you did with your.
Oh, you have Twitter, Osvaldo? This is exciting to me.
I've put your YouTube channel in the description, not your Twitter. Your YouTube
or Osvaldo Franco.
Osvaldo
I want to know more about those shareholder meetings.
That's where I'm going to be.
At the TTS.
Give me the fucking link. Sorry.
I'm going to go find you right now on Twitter, Osvaldo.
Are you a TTSA investor?
No, I'm not. But your investment is incredibly interesting to me, for sure.
Yes, I am an investor.
You're the only TTSA investor now that I've ever talked to in my whole life, and I may never talk to another TTSA investor for the rest of my life.
I don't know why everybody's hiding. We should be crowing. We're the ones that got this done. It's the TTSA. And those of us that supported them, we're the ones that got all the congressional stuff done. It wasn't anybody else. We should be crowing, dude. We should be we should be running ufology instead of everyone still shitting on us. But
I think Tom DeLonge is positioning himself that way right now.
Oh yeah, no.
Like I said,
listen, ufology is going to die. Ufology is dead already. The parts are falling away. Things are going to change. I'm telling you now. Mark my words. They're changing now.
It's already gone, man. It left. It's done.
No, but
we know they're real.
Something is coming in its place.
Government confirmed it. You're right. Bam. Ufology's gone.
Guys, I'm going to drop you below. And thank you for all being on tonight. You're all welcome on any time.
Thank you for having me. Please.
But I will literally come on for 5 minutes after the show just to have a little chat with you before.
Okay.
Cool.
A little bit of a supper. Yeah.
A little chat.
A little chat.
A little chat.
Sorry, I had to.
That's great. No.
Osvaldo Franco, thank you for joining us, my friend. Good night. God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. Rich, thank you for joining us. Good night. God bless.
Good night.
Mind the bugs don't bite. Artemis.
Oh my God.
That sounded like.
Please.
Like articism? Articism? What is that?
I don't even know.
It's
cool.
It's my dyslexia. Cool. It's my dyslexia. Have I spelled
okay. That's why you said Artie. Like, just call me Artie. It's cute. Right. It's cute. It's fun.
Is my email spelled right now? I can't even tell.
It looks fine. Yeah, that's great.
Yes, perfect. It is. It is. It is.
Good job,
mate. Good job.
Shit the bed. Right.
Don't shit the bed.
No, I stopped doing that a long time ago. Yeah, 6 years ago.
Okay.
6 years. And Amy.
Yes, thank you so much for letting me jump on. I have so much fun, and I've been wanting to come on your show again for a long time. So thanks for letting me jump on. Really appreciate it.
1 year. 1 year. And
I can't believe I did it.
So are you 800 yet? 900?
Like 600.
I thought you were 700. Guys, go subscribe now to Alien Girl 111.
Yeah, do it. Come watch the show. We have fun.
To Osvaldo Franco.
Go to Osvaldo's. I'm going to go there next. Subscribe.
Go to Artemis.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I pronounced it right. Go to Artemis.
She's on Twitter too. She's a Twitter sensation.
I don't understand Twitter. I really don't.
She's a sensation.
I need to. I think it's a dyslexic thing. But Amy, thanks for joining us.
Yes,
I'm gonna drop you down. I have drunk only 5 beers that I feel slightly tipsy for some strange reason. Maybe it was the conversation on that show. Very different, a lot of different views, but I enjoyed it. Guys, thank you so much for the support. Literally, you put this beard on my face. Not the smile, the beard. Because if it weren't for this beard, I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, good night, God bless. Mind the bugs, don't bite. I'm Alien Addict. Subscribe. And if you want to go buy a t-shirt or two, like Bob and Jeremy, good supporters of the channel. Jeremy, my beard is starting to become better than yours. I'm sorry to say, because I'm growing it. And I do all my own designs. Those are my alien designs. Go check them out. Go get yourself a mug and drink out of it, because we need to drink as human beings. Not alcohol, just water. Good night, God bless. Mind the bugs don't bite. Have a great evening. I've had 4 beers. I'm slightly tipsy.